Welcome back to the Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Nicole
Hello.
and Yvie. And
Hello.
we are here to finish out Season 5 of Stargate SG-1 with Meridian
Yeah.
and Revelations 2.
Halfway.
Halfway
Yes,
through
I know.
SG-1.
We are halfway through SG-1.
Mhm.
I've been kind of a little bit bummed this week in the lead up to watching Meridian. Like, I have seen the episode obviously a bunch of times. I know what happens, but it still hits me.
Yeah.
It's still really sad. It's just such a good performance
Doesn't hit
overall.
as hard anymore after
Knowing he
Fallen.
lives.
Oh no, of course not.
Just,
But
it's not as profound as the Paul McGilligan,
mm,
Carson Beckett loss, but it's up there because
mm,
this entire episode is about the death, whereas,
yep.
that's a
It's a
shock.
surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
When I
That's
made my
true.
nan watch Stargate with me because I was like, not in school anymore, didn't know what to do. So I was like, well, I was watching all of Stargate together. She
What
was
does one do with their life when they're not in school anymore? Yeah.
yeah, and I couldn't
Watch
get employed yet
Stargate.
because I was like 17 and getting a job below 18 is hard in this country. And so we were watching it and she finished it and she was like, no, no, he cannot be dead. And I was like,
Oh,
okay.
She got into
I love
it.
the
She got
accent. It
really
was great.
devastated, and then she came home the next day, and I was like excited for her to, like see how the show was going to continue. And then she was
Yep.
like, "I'm okay. I see that he comes back." And I was like, "What did you
Oh,
do?"
You've ruined it for yourself.
She was like,
don't
"I
ruin it for
googled it.
yourself.
I googled
Yeah.
it. I couldn't. Unacceptable. I couldn't lose my favorite." And I was like, "Oh my god, Abuela,
Oh,
chill." So she was very upset.
Chill indeed, abuela.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, I did want to preface this with this was
yep.
a harrowing 2 episodes for me when I was a child because I only had most season 1 and then 4 and 5 on DVD, and I wasn't
Okay.
really on the internet much as a child, as much as I am now, obviously. And so I remember seeing the episode and seeing Daniel die and being like,
Mm.
uh-huh. Like I didn't believe it. I just didn't believe it because it's Stargate. I'm like, they don't permanently die. And
Yep.
then I thought it was
Yep.
kind of the end of season 5 is such an ending that I was like, oh my god, there's like no more Stargate. Like, there was no more
There
Mm.
DVDs.
wasn't
So I was like,
supposed to
that's
be.
it.
There wasn't
Yeah,
supposed
I
to be.
was
They had a
like,
5-year contract with
that's it.
Showtime, and that was it. They didn't expect Sci-Fi to pick it up.
No.
Yep.
Unheard
And so
of.
Yep.
child me didn't expect it to get picked up. I didn't know how TV worked. Didn't even realize that was it. I just thought that my dad didn't have any more DVDs. So that must be where it ends. And then you should have seen the day I walked into
Uh,
HMV when that was still a prevalent thing in the UK. And I saw like all the other seasons, and I was like, oh my god, there's more. And it was like a beautiful day.
you're like
'Cause
swooning in the aisles.
honestly, I was like, Dad,
I'm
you have to buy
saved.
me one. Honestly, it was so shocking.
Okay.
You
That
see
was
like that
so-
angelic light coming down like
Yeah.
right above like the area where the DVDs
Yeah,
are.
like it's like the Lord himself had just like shone it over.
Speaking of
So-
angelic,
Yes.
let's look at Adam's art for
Oh yes.
the end of
Sorry,
season 5.
I haven't, my God, I haven't prepped myself. I knew I was,
Let me know when you guys have the link.
yeah.
I am in and in.
You ready?
Yeah.
Da-da-da. Yeah, my computer has been really slow. I'm so sorry.
Earth to Evie. Towery to
Yep.
Evie.
Yep, here we go.
Howry.
All set?
Yeah.
Yes, yep.
All right, let's look at Meridian.
Okay.
That is
God,
bizarre.
my computer is still loading.
Okay, well I can see
Oh,
it. And that is bizarre.
Oh,
In a good way.
wow.
In a good way. It's
Oh.
it's so like
Actually, I think
abstract.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Mm.
like haunting.
Yeah.
I mean, you
it
could
gets
you
the
could
message
print
across.
that and put that in a frame,
Yeah.
and people would know exactly what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's like you can tell like
Mm.
who the people in the room are. Like you can identify.
Well, you just know, you
Yeah.
know what that is.
Wow.
That's
Yeah. And that's his glowing soul
Whew.
piecing
Uh-huh.
out.
Yeah, that
Piecing out.
honestly that blows me away. That's beautiful.
I like
Well
all the
done,
little like
Adam.
ghostly,
Hauntingly beautiful.
ghostly light
people are
things.
surrounding him.
Yeah.
And you got this like essence that's pulling him.
Which is very, reminiscent of the essence that he has when he's, ascended and floating away. So
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Adam says, "Isn't this just a perfect representation of the episode? I made plenty of more detailed drafts in various digital art styles. They were all okay, but once I started branching out to other styles of art, I went really basic to see what might inspire me. This is an oil painting version that is so basic and probably uses less than 10 colors, but it speaks volumes, and you instantly know what part of the episode this is. Well, part of the franchise it is.
Yeah.
So I'm really,
Yeah,
really
that's
proud of how
incredible.
well this one turned out.
It reminds me more of oil pastels
Uh-huh.
because I did a similar project that looks actually very reminiscent of that in school where I did oil pastels
Yeah.
and looks like that.
It's
So.
deceptively, it'd be very hard to do, like,
Oh
as an
yeah.
artist.
You
Yeah.
can look at it's one of those
very
things where you can
deceptive.
kind of look at it and go, I could do that at home, but then when you try and do it at home, you can't. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. All
All
right.
right.
And
Next
Revelations.
one.
Let's look at Revelations.
Oh, I like that. I like
It
how
looks almost
closed he
happy.
is. Yeah.
He's got a smile.
Yeah. I don't think he's
wow,
happy
the
about
details
being
in
there.
the room though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
I
And
just
it looks
feel
a little
like-
You got Egyptian. You're right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It feels
whole kit and
like
caboodle.
he's gonna get like probed or something, like the human
And then
probing
he's looking
thing.
forward
But
to
he
it.
kind of
Yeah.
looks excited
Yeah.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get over here, Osiris.
Exactly.
I've always wanted
It's
to know
like-
what this feels like.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the beginning of I'm not going to go into detail of it, but like the South Park game, right at the very beginning, everyone gets like abducted, and it's very messed up. I'm not going to talk
Oh,
about
the snow day?
it. From the beginning of the game.
The new
From
one?
the
Oh, interesting.
from not the newest one, the one before.
Oh, okay.
I
don't
Stick
know
of
anything
Truth,
about
I think
the
it
snow
was.
game.
Yeah,
Snow
it
Day.
was
Okay.
mad. It was good. It was good.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
Adam says, I tried the new Chat GPT 01 that now thinks and reasons out requests to recall this specific episode and then write a prompt for Dolly 3 to generate an image of the episode. It did surprisingly well, and it's a little scary how well Dolly 3 adhered to the prompt, having not been fed any reference images for the scene in which we find Thor strapped to the table. Good to see it finally understands what little gray aliens are and not whatever 4wheel drive car we got a few years back when we did images for the trivia night. Oh, gosh.
I like the way that he layered the different AIs to get to a certain point.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Uh-huh.
Yes, yep, he does that quite often. Just to I think it just helps out with the prompts.
It's not a
Anthony
straight
said
line
this.
sometimes.
I think Anthony said this
Mm.
before I even said anything, but I didn't see it. Saying it's like an old oil pastel picture. Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yep.
Cool. And
Yeah.
the crinkled rock in the background or something with a polish to it. Yeah, it's very well done. Very well done. I love the floor and the lights and everything. It's just coming
Yeah, so
coming
do
a
I.
little wild.
Definitely says
Adam,
Stargate.
thank you.
Yes.
Thank you,
Big,
Adam.
big thank you.
Yes.
It's a lot of hours that he has spent
You've
on these.
Yeah.
done a
so,
lot of hard
appreciate
work.
that.
yeah, we really appreciated you, sir. All right, gang.
Should I bring up the poll situation?
Thank you. I completely forgot.
Yeah,
So
I
if you
remember.
go to let me
If you go and then come right back to our poll.
well, yeah, just open up a new tab, depending on what device you are on or something
Yeah,
like
if you're,
that.
like,
Before
putting
the
anything
end of this episode, man, I don't want to show all these things. Some of my YouTube preferences.
Oh, yeah. Let's keep those personal.
It's like your search history type thing. Like I'm always
There's
like
some
delete
odd ones right
search
now.
history. Get rid
So
of it.
Yeah.
okay, so I'm trying to pull this here. So if you go to Wormhole Extremists, and then you click on Community, you're gonna see this poll. Which film should we cover live for the midweek movie this coming Wednesday? You have Stardust, Upgrade, Contact, and Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. Upgrade was my pick. It is Logan Marshall Green. It is like a Black Mirror episode, and if you have not seen it, I completely recommend it because it is amazing, and it talks about a lot of the things that we are going to be dealing with in the next few years. So you can vote on that one if you're voting with me. Who wanted Stardust?
That's me. I'm
Okay.
Big Stardust.
Okay, so explain that.
So Stardust is a movie that I watched at Christmas with my dad when I was like 10, 11. And
Okay.
it was magical. I sat down for like 5 minutes eating pizza because I was like, I'll go play Halo in the other room. But then I was so immersed by the beautiful introduction of the film and just it's such a simple, beautiful fairy tale, and it's about a falling star. And I thought that it's just something so nice about it.
So if you're with
yeah.
Nicole, click Stardust.
Yes.
Contact.
Yes. Well, Contact, I haven't seen, so I can't really speak much about it, but
It's a
I
great
know
film.
that it has Jodie Foster in it.
Yep.
We love Jodie Foster.
Yep.
So someone asked, I think Dan Ben asked, is it Jodie Foster? Yes, it is Jodie Foster.
And
I've
then-
actually never seen the film, as I said, so I've been like wanting to watch it,
Yeah.
but I guess I
It's a
just
good
haven't
one.
gotten around to it. So
And then Star
and
Trek
Nicole
II,
hasn't seen
The
it.
Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I
Yeah.
think might have been was
that
it a
Jed
Dan
Ted or
Ben
something?
suggestion?
Dan
Jed
Ben.
Ted? Yeah.
one of
I'm
you
sorry
guys.
if I've gotten
Yeah, sorry if we've got
those
our
people
wires
confused.
crossed.
But it was a recommendation in the chat last week, so I thought we could incorporate it in the poll.
So go over there and click on it and give us your vote for the midweek movie this coming Wednesday, even if you don't plan on being here. But
just,
preferably if you do. So
Yeah.
this coming Wednesday at it's going to be 1:30 p.m. Pacific time because I have a dentist appointment.
Yeah.
So
and if you
is
can't
always
be there
exciting.
live for it, please come back later.
Absolutely.
if you voted.
Absolutely.
Come back later. So very
right.
good.
Are we ready to
Your
get
film buddies.
sad? I'm not going to be that sad, like, because he just
You know what happens.
I know that he comes
he's
back,
just
but
saying see you later. He's saying bye for now.
well,
So.
I think when I watched it the other day, and I can't believe I'm watching this episode twice in like 72 hours. It's just a bit much.
That's what happened to me with Fifth Element. Yeah.
But when I watched it the other day, and as I prefaced before, like I've seen it probably 5 or 6 times already in the past, but I cried when Tilk says his goodbye.
Oh yeah, that's the one, isn't it? It's always
Chris
it's when
emotional.
Christopher Judge gets emotional because Tilk is so calm and
he's so
Chris
stoic usually.
Chris wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah.
He loved Michael. This was hard for them. This was hard for all of them, but it was really hard for Chris. So,
Yeah, they had a good bond.
Yeah. You guys ready to rock and roll?
I am ready.
Yes, I have it ready to go. I'll just put it on pause. Yep, ready when you guys are.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and put on...
Oh, hold on, Robin Crimson. Sorry, I missed it. Where we get votes. Oh, which if you go to our overall page, if you go all the way to the side, you'll see posts. So there's home videos, shorts, live playlists, posts, and there's a posts area.
Yeah, I just explained it. So
yeah, he missed it. I'm saying it again. There you go.
Yeah, you can go. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. All right, guys. Meridian in 5, 4, 3. My name is David Reed. I'm with Yvie.
Hello.
And Nicole.
Hello. You sound very somber in your
I know. I was just going to say.
Well, God forbid.
Somber.
Yeah, we're watching Meridian, season 5, episode 21 of Stargate SG-1. So there's only so many chances to really be somber, and this is one of them. So
yeah,
I agree. I totally agree.
Such a wild intro.
So
well, I remember. Yep. Sorry, you go, David.
Yeah, William Murphy. He was learning about he was in school to become a nuclear engineer, and when he heard how many grays of exactly what she's saying here, he was like, before the ladies say it, he's like 9 grays of neutron radiation. William was in his college dorm saying, Daniel's dead.
Yeah. He's gonna need I remember thinking he's gonna need a miracle. And then I just assumed like 3/4 of the way through the episode that they were going to find a cure.
Yeah.
Don was so good. They're all good in this scene.
They are.
I'm getting chills, and I've seen this 20 times.
I know.
Yeah, I don't really know what I truly felt. I think I just when the whole thing ended, I was a bit shocked. But I think because I was a child, I couldn't really fully absorb it. So I was like, whoa, what just happened?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
This is our version of Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for Yvie to do her intro spiel, where she does it during the intro, where she gives us.
Well, I usually do, but I actually don't have any notes until like 2 minutes and 24 seconds in.
Ah, well, there you
so
go.
We've got another 40
about
seconds.
40 seconds away.
Yeah, I know.
I think I
actually happening there.
I put a lot of time and effort into these notes this week. It took me all week.
I'm very proud and appreciative.
I think I watched this with my mother the first time. I'm not entirely sure.
How did she feel?
Well, she wasn't like a biggest fan of the show as I was. She was, just kind of like watching it in the background. But
yes,
I had been a member of Stargate or Gate World, at this point, and I was aware that Michael was going. So, because
so you had some background knowledge.
Brad announced it at GateCon to a room full of tears.
Oh God, I can imagine. Ugh. For those who don't know, Kelowna is also a real city in British Columbia. And it's also kind of worth noting that Sam compares Kelowna to the US in the 1940s, which is kind of an interesting parallel, especially considering the nature of Daniel's accident. There was actually a real world connection here as well. Back in 46, a Canadian physicist named is either Louis or Louis Slotin died in a very similar incident while manually handling plutonium cores.
Wow.
So I don't know if
to,
that
to
was an
avert
inspiration.
an accident, or was
I think
it just...
so.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Damn.
So I've actually got like a ton of notes here. So Jack actually referenced the Cold War. So it kind of does provide some pretty important context for his views on weapons of mass destruction.
Welcome,
so
Corin.
He would have...
Yep.
Yes, that was my next point. So Jack would have served during the latter part of the Cold War. So his concerns about less advanced worlds acquiring powerful weapons would probably stem from this background. And Jack likely sees parallels between these situations and Earth's own nuclear history. So his fears like these worlds might repeat the arms race that brought Earth to almost the brink of disaster. So, and of course, this is the lovely Corin. So, as we
Cutie
know,
patootie.
as fans, he'll go to replace Daniel Jackson for the entirety of season 6. I think in total he appears in 26 episodes.
Yep.
So he's had a very diverse career in entertainment, and he's most widely recognized for his role as the titular character in 73 episodes of Parker Lewis Can't Lose. And I think he's actually kind of expanded his creative pursuits beyond acting. I think I read since about 2018, he's written and published like 21 books, which is just
He's
crazy.
published a few, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this the first time we go back and forth in time like this in Stargate? Is this the first time that we've had this?
I don't actually know. It might be.
I think so.
I feel like it is.
Yeah.
Anyone else
It's,
to correct us out there, please correct us.
I mean, the
you
only
guys-
time I see it before is like Divide and Conquer. That's as close as
Yeah,
you get,
well,
but
yeah, exactly.
Not even that clear. Not like
That's true, too. We do have some of those flashbacks, for sure.
Do you think
That's
it's kind
really
of
good
weird?
recall.
Yeah. Do you think it's kind of weird that the Colonans have just met SG-1? Like, essentially, aliens have arrived through like this mysterious Stargate, and they're allowing them to visit their
They're
like
taking it
top
really
secret
well.
weapons project.
Maybe I just want to like God to them.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. That's a fair point. They
Are they, like,
definitely would have
religious?
depended on the leadership.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone is secular outside of the gold worshippers at this point.
I guess. So, I believe Corin really did his homework for the role of Jonas.
He's
I think he was
perfect.
given like the first 5 seasons to watch and familiarize himself with the show's style, and he also wanted to make sure that his character and his performance fit like seamlessly into this established world of Stargate.
Yeah.
And I think he actually wasn't very familiar with the series before joining because he didn't have Showtime. That was his excuse. But he was very familiar with the original movie and he was a fan. So I think this kind of led to some like initial challenges with the fan base, as we know. I
mean,
think he mentioned
chill.
receiving hate mail for like the
classic.
first month and a half after
I
his
hate
debut.
when that happens. There's no need
And
for it.
I know, but he said that it later turned into apology letters as fans like warmed to his character.
Yep.
And he did admit that he didn't grasp the depth of the fan passion at first, or fully understand the impact of joining, such a beloved long-running series. But I think overall he felt, privileged to be a part of it.
Some of my favorite moments in this show, especially like going into season 6 now, is like the Jonas is part of those big moments, like the underwater ring situation. Which is awesome.
It's just
So
iconic.
cool. It really is.
For sure.
And I'm just so excited to see him because the thing is as well, he's not just like a replacement for a character. He didn't feel like a carbon copy.
No. But he
And-
had to
I
fill
think he
that
felt
niche.
different too.
Yeah.
And I actually kind of felt bad that he didn't get to explore the character a little bit more.
Same,
They sort
yeah.
of just replaced him straight out with the character that he replaced. But anyway, that aside. So I think that was, I actually don't know how to pronounce his name. The guy who plays Thomas Lead, Dave Hutebise? Anyway, he previously
Congratulations.
played
Yep, didn't I say that?
Dr.
Good job.
Kleinhaus in Hathor.
Oh.
So he
he
unearthed
did!
the sarcophagus at the
That's
very start.
right. He did. You were not Goa'uld? What's that?
Oh, so
Very
good.
good.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. You know, I compared like Jonas's you know, introduction and Daniel's departure to obviously RDA leaving and Ben Browder taking his place. Oh, I find it so funny that he had such big shoes to fill, and also with Amanda being on maternity leave, that they had to bring in Claudia Black. They had to bring in two people to kind of fill that hole.
To fill
This
the
was a
hole,
much
yeah.
smoother transition and than that one, and so this one I felt a lot warmer towards it. No hate to Ben or Claudia, love them both so much, as we know, but I really love the way that they dealt with the departure of Daniel here.
Yes, yeah. Well, I'm gonna put it out there. I was actually a big fan, or am a big fan of Jonas. So, I actually
Yeah.
quite like his brief stint.
Yeah, I wish that they kept both him and Daniel in season 7.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think they would have had some good banter.
Yeah.
Mojana Kaufman used like the 5 stages of grief in her Gate World review as like a framework for analyzing the characters' reactions to Daniel's situation in this episode. So, looking at the previous scene, you could say that Sam and Jack are clearly stuck in denial and anger.
Yeah.
So they're obviously having a hard time accepting what's happening to Daniel. Now, Daniel's reaction, I think, is kind of interesting because the way that he calmly explains the symptoms of radiation here kind of suggests that he might actually be sort of in a form of acceptance already.
Yeah, a weird form of acceptance.
Yeah.
Well, he's looking back on his life for the last, 6 years and saying, what he's done has only gotten him so far. And he thinks, as he'll reveal later, he's failed.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And this is just the latest example.
Heartbreaking.
It's like a bitter acceptance. He's almost kind of irritated by the whole thing, but he's also quite like okay with it. It's weird.
Yeah, maybe he's kind of, I guess, not expecting that this would happen, but I mean, they have seen a lot of action, and he has probably been in some pretty peril situations before, so he's just figuring, well, this is just part and parcel of the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, on the other hand, he just feels like he hasn't personally achieved as much as he set out to, which is sad because he's made such an impact.
Makes me think of that whole Teal'c thing where he's like, it will never be enough. And it's like, Teal'c, my bro.
This is the part where they have to hang a lantern on. Well, we've got this other gold tech out there that saved us in other circumstances. Why is it not going to save us now?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Because it would risk more lives. Significant casualties that you could bring back to life, General.
Well, that's a good point. I didn't think of it like that. They just line up these bodies to use the sarcophagus for.
Yep.
God. Yeah.
It is funny how shows have to use excuses like this and make up their own rules.
Yeah, because I think online people were like, "What about Hathor's sarcophagus?" And it's like, well, that was kind of blown to smithereens.
Bits.
Yeah. Okay, proximity alert. I know it's an inappropriate episode, but yeah. So I actually read a comment online about Sam's behavior in this episode. So, why Daniel is dying from, Naquadah related and a Quadria related accident, sorry. We do see Sam sort of deeply engaged with the element's potential uses and like researching. So I don't think that her behavior is necessarily callous. I think it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
She's a scientist and a soldier.
She's on duty right now. She goes and sees him when she's off duty. She's on duty right now.
She's likely she's distracting herself from like the emotional pain by focusing on the bigger picture. And, she recognizes that while this element is essentially killing her friend, it could save countless of others in the future. And she's sort of processing her grief by channeling it into something productive and trying to find like meaning in this tragedy.
I love
God, Amanda's face right there hurts me.
Oh, me too. I mean, I love him anyway, but yeah.
He's so good. And a part of, I think, the reason, to be perfectly frank, that people had such a hard time with Corin and Jonas is because Rick is so passionate in this episode. He calls them lying bastards. And right there.
Yeah.
And so for the next season, we're like, okay, on the team, we've been saddled with a lying bastard. And so that took a long time for people to get over because Jack wasn't really, he was still prickly with him, which is true to the character. He wouldn't just be like, you know what? I love
Yeah.
you. I was wrong all along. No, you're kind of
Exactly.
a wild card.
Jack's
So-
prickliness with him always made me a bit sad.
Sorry, just really quickly, Griff
Go
coming
ahead.
up. There's a smokestack on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, and the smoke is going backwards.
Okay, so it's
Preface that
an
bit.
inverted.
It's in reverse,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
It
I
is
was
a
going to
lot.
say that the other thing in this scene that kind of throws me, and it has thrown a few fans, is that he uses the word capitulate. So it's like, seems kind of out of character. Like the emotional intensity of this situation might have caused Jack to drop his usual "I'm not smart" act.
Oh yeah,
You
no,
know, like
he
you
doesn't
wouldn't
care
normally.
right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, it was that one smokestack, and the others were going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yes, they were. It was the one in the
Interesting.
bottom
Good
left-hand corner, the
catch.
darker smoke.
So
I
what
don't
I
think
find
that was me that found that.
quite funny, based on like what you guys just said about
Yes.
Jack being all prickly with Jonas. It's funny because like Teal'c is pretty directly responsible for the capture of Daniel's wife and
Yep.
her inevitable death, and he shot her at the end.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
and Jack was able to forgive that for the turning around and the saving them situation. But
Yeah.
like Jonas turned around and like he doesn't have any dramatic moments to do that with. Like it
No,
was
he just steps through the Stargate with a box.
with
Yeah,
a box
true.
of stuff
Yeah.
to try and help in his own
He
way.
does. He has to work very hard to kind of like prove himself.
Yeah, and he does what he can
Mm.
as close to Teal'c as possible, which is removing the Quadria so that his people can't
Yeah.
use what they have. And that's a
Mhm.
really heroic thing for him to do in his own way, but it's not
Mm.
recognized as much because I feel like it wasn't in like the line of action in the same way. And that
True.
makes me
Yeah.
sad.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So, I think at first glance, sending Jack on like this diplomatic mission to Kelowna by himself kind of seems bizarre in like given
Yeah.
his well-established personality. But I mean, in
Yes,
the
I wouldn't
Sentinel,
send him.
in the Sentinel, he was like surprisingly diplomatic. And I think this situation kind of feels different though. Like it's more like Hammond is maybe playing like a bit of a clever game. Like he's technically following protocol by sending a senior officer, but he's probably counting on Jack's like trademark defiance to
So
sort of
stubborn.
make a point, which is
Yeah.
exactly what he does. He does make a point.
He can't tell the truth.
See, this is the thing. He's
Oof.
saying
Ugh.
he's saying he
Yeah.
can't. That's the thing with Jonas, is that Jonas is really trying, but
But
like
it doesn't matter. He would be shouting
got his
into
own
a
rules.
void, and they might
Yeah.
actually kill him.
yeah.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's-
matter.
Yeah.
This is again what makes me sad, is that Jack is really thinking about himself so much, and he's not focusing as well on
He's
like,
got
how
tunnel
he
vision.
He's thinking about Daniel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
Which
thinking about
is, in a way,
Daniel,
thinking
yeah.
about himself. But yeah.
So, I kind of wanted to revisit Jack's like Cold War viewpoint.
Here
that
it is, right here.
Mentioned earlier in the episode. So, someone on Reddit made like an intriguing observation about the apparent hypocrisy in Jack's argument. So, it's worth noting that Jack himself used a nuclear device to destroy Ra's ship in the original movie, and also the SGC has consistently used bombs and other powerful weapons throughout the series. So.
Yep. And frankly, when Kelowna uses the Nequadria bomb in season 7, it brings everyone to the table for peace.
Yes,
I
it
would just like to
does.
mention this here. Japan is one of America's strongest allies to this day. I'm not commenting on, the use of nuclear war. All I'm saying, I'm just referring
it
to
was
the
awful.
results.
Yeah, the result was like, something positive in the end, but something horrible had to happen
Yep.
first. And that's awful.
Pick-
yeah.
let's
Pick your
just-
horrible. Pick your horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly. Let's appreciate Jana right here. Like
Oh,
Terrell's
gosh,
performance
yeah.
in this scene
Yeah.
is like it's a really heavy subject that she's alluding to. Like there's no doubt about it.
How many
But
hours was she awake? Can someone pull in the chat, please pull that? We find out in Heroes how many hours she was awake.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Someone knows. Jed Ted said the episode taught me what the word scapegoat means. Same, actually. Yeah, I
Yeah.
hadn't heard it before.
Oh.
Really? Okay.
I twas a child, so
Was a child. Even she's bringing herself to the point where, you know what? He's going to die anyway. Let's save him some
Yeah.
pain. And this is a great question where, people are on their deathbeds for, in some cases, years. It's like
Yes.
they're literally waiting for death. They're not getting better. At a certain point, does the individual, have the right to say, I don't want to
I'm
suffer
done.
anymore.
Yeah.
We know where this is going. It's not like I'm going to sit up one day and be like, hey, everything's going to be better.
yeah.
Anthony,
this
Daniel said that Janet didn't sleep for 3 days trying to keep him alive.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Wow. 3 days. Holy moly.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd
No,
Well, that's
no,
the
you
thing.
wouldn't be able to sleep.
Yeah.
But your body needs the sleep, so it's
Yeah.
like, yeah. This is Kendra's healing device from Thor's hammer, isn't it?
Probably.
Assumably.
I assume,
Yeah.
It
Although I
looks
don't know
a
how
little
many I've
different,
picked
but
up by now.
Oh, look at how much pain Jeez.
Yeah.
The way he's trying to smile. Oh, Daniel.
His DNA is being ripped apart on the inside.
Yeah.
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 It's actually insane that that's what, like, you know, radiation can do.
Uh-huh.
Like, it blows my mind how
It's just
messed
nuts.
up it is.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, his acting in this scene is like
And it causes him to seize.
devastating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, the foaming. Ugh. She tried, and Daniel appreciates that she tried. And I think that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Lockwatch said, "This is when I realized that Janet's flashlight could not cure everything."
I
I was waiting for the flashlight
Took
joke.
5 seasons.
Yeah, Janet hasn't been doing much flashlight to curing lately, so.
I
Alright, so-
love Mel Harris.
Oh, me too.
Yes,
Fabulous.
she's amazing. I actually had a little spiel about Mel Harris. So she does reprise this role in 2 more episodes. It always felt like more to me.
Man, my dog's tired.
She
Great
is
line.
probably best known for her portrayal as Hope Stedman in the Emmy Award-winning series 30 Something.
If you haven't seen it, go see it.
Episodes.
It's
I
great.
haven't. So here's another interesting tidbit, and I did triple check this to be like 100% sure. But back in '85, Mel actually appeared on the game show The $1,000 Pyramid, hosted by Dick Clark, and she won like a significant amount of money. And on the show, she actually introduced herself as a professional dog trainer. Also,
Wow.
her nickname Mel actually comes from Melon. Which is how her sister pronounced her given name, Mary Ellen, when she was a kid.
Wow.
So the nickname stuck, so she's been Mel ever since.
Yeah. There's also another Mel
That's quite
Harris who
sweet.
was either a VP or president of Paramount for years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, and also Mel Harris's husband was a White House photographer, or her ex-husband,
Interesting.
which is
It's
kind of
crazy
cool.
how many
Yeah.
weird connections there are in the world, and how, like, you know,
I know.
everyone like lives their own lives, but they touch so many things. You know, it's crazy.
I love how awkward this is.
Yeah, Daniel and Jack don't know how to like.
Well, he
communicate very
literally admits it's awkward, but Daniel
Yeah.
understands the effort behind
Yeah.
his words.
It's like
so
his
he
little brother.
appreciates it.
well.
Yeah.
I do feel like there are moments, you know, especially in the recent episodes with Jack, where, you know, as you said earlier, he was being quite diplomatic,
Yes.
and I just that's Daniel rubbing off on him. You know,
I
That's
think
how
it might be. Yeah, I think you're right. It's amazing he's able to see, like, understand Sam's point of view to a certain extent about the importance of the Nequadria. Like, it's
Yeah.
the reason why he's here in this bed, but
I mean, it's like a lot of
Yeah.
when people are faced their own fate, it's like, say you save someone from like a burning building, and then you find out that like
Yeah.
you're gonna die from like the burns, but you like saved a child while doing that. It's like, oh, my sacrifice in that moment was quite worth it. Like, it's important.
yeah.
So, you know, Dan just saved a whole planet. So
Why do you care, Jack? Well, because.
You've been, and he has to kind of like throw in an insult in there. Oh,
oh.
I love here where they're like,
May have.
oh.
Might. Oh.
yeah. I think. Oh, Jack.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
No, don't worry,
Painkillers
he'll be
are
back.
kicking in.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, I'm not Omar.
You say
So,
velour?
Velour? Yeah, we were about to say bad
That's
jokes.
So, Omar Dasala's new look did
Yes.
spark a little bit of discussion online. So, Morjana Kaufman found her pantsuit and earrings quite a departure from her mystical appearance in Maternal
This
Instinct.
is true.
So she thought that this change might have been intended to make Daniel feel a little bit more comfortable during this difficult time,
Yes.
but it didn't really resonate with her. So from the actor's perspective, I think it's interesting to note that Mel Harris actually landed the role partly because of her son. They were both big Stargate fans.
Byron
who
was a
growing
huge
up.
Stargate fan. Yep,
Yeah.
they visited the set a few months beforehand, according to Rob
Yes,
Cooper.
they did.
And it was like, we bring her back.
Yeah, exactly. So I think she really like embraced Oma's like eternal goddess character, I think is the phrase that
Oh,
She
yeah.
loves the
I
character.
love her.
um
Yeah.
though I think she admitted that the cryptic dialogue was a little bit challenging.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
Michael Shanks viewed Oma as an angelic, all-powerful being with a neutral stance.
She's his Obi-Wan.
Yes, she is. She is.
Something about her is just so calming and just nurturing. She is just Mother
Yeah.
Nature, you know.
She
I love
is.
I
She
love
is
Oma.
Mother Nature.
Whenever I see her, I get like some warm and fuzzies.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Don't
I'm
make her
always like,
angry though. She'll really
Oh, no.
you really piss her off.
I really
Oh,
love that
yeah.
moment when she's actually Replicata, and then that whole like, and she has that
Oh,
moment of
yes.
bad, and I
Yep.
thought that was really well done as well. The great performance.
It was a great excuse to bring her in for
Oh,
an
yeah.
additional episode because she was
Yeah,
already
yeah.
up there filming. So
I was so happy to see her.
So Daniel was, they were basically commenting on how hard it is to ascend. But the thing is, though, Daniel, like Oma's kind of got like the express lane to ascension, right?
Yeah, she
Yeah.
gave it to
So,
Anubis.
put in $1
Yeah, exactly.
and come on in. We'll raise the gate up for you.
Yeah.
Also, just a question. How did Jonas get past the iris without a GDO? Like, did he call ahead
They
somehow?
I'm
they can
assuming he
radio.
did, yeah.
They can
Yeah.
radio one another.
So they've left a radio on his planet?
They probably radioed them to begin with. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if they're in the
Maybe.
50s level of development. They have radio.
Yeah.
Well, we find a way all the time to
Yep.
radio communicate with people. So, you know, like the other side, they had that camera.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I was just curious.
Or they gave them a GDO. I imagine there are
Maybe.
several GDOs out there with our allies.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I love this. This right here.
I wonder how he got close to the Stargate though, without being
Yeah, I would have thought they'd have some guards or something.
on the other side.
Yeah, because they don't have an iris on their side either. So if they've got beef with Earth, you would have thought, really cautious of people coming through in the future. So
I
anyway.
think his performance here is phenomenal. I really
Oh, it is.
I really like how like subdued his pain is and how he's so like he's kind of angry in a similar way, but for like his own people. And he's trying to do justice to
Yeah, he did the right thing
And
Yeah,
that's the thing,
he
he's
did.
just done the right thing,
at
and
the
then he did the right
expense
thing
of his
even more.
future.
Exactly. He no longer has a home.
Nope.
You know, he's given up. He's done a tealk, but because it was just a box, and he didn't do it like I guess a minute later. There's this beef with Jack, and it makes me so sad.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, because it should have been Jonas. You know?
Yeah,
I don't know if he just said that or
that's the thing that sucks is that's how Jack feels. It's like it should have been you, not my friend. But but that's the thing. Jonas is like in his own way. He's also just a kid. You know, like he's just a kid trying to get through the world and just trying to do his thing. And he also didn't realize how bad the power was going to be. Like it wasn't until after that he realized how devastating it would have been for everybody. You know. Daniel's he's got the hero complex because he's been a hero for 5 seasons. He knows what to do. Jonas is just the nerd. He hasn't learned that yet, the hero part. So
wasn't an asteroid, buddy.
yeah,
It was this stuff.
Yep.
Don't we find out later that it's like the core of the planet is made of Nequadria?
It's going.
That's
the
what-
Nequadria
isn't it going
is
towards it?
yes. So it's being transformed
so
as it
it
goes
could
deeper.
blow
Yes,
like extra
but we're
hard.
a couple of years away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like here, like this whole sequence, you know, I couldn't forgive Jonas for not diving ahead and doing what Daniel did because you know that would not be my first instinct. You know, while like if you look at like a firefighter or a policeman, you know they're used to danger, they're used to doing what they need to do to save people.
Yeah,
so they, like,
they're
run in and
trained
do
like
that.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Daniel's trained to be a hero. Jonas isn't.
In a
you know?
in a way, yeah.
Yeah, like Daniel had to learn it on the fly, but you know he's got that in him, and it's 5 seasons of it, so just breaks my heart because Jonas deserves better, and I really would have wanted to see. I wish they brought Corin back for like 200 and stuff like that, but whatever.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know. Me too.
Yeah,
That was big.
Yeah, and that's gonna get
Look at
sucked
those
in.
needles.
Yeah. They're
God, this
going
gives
to
me like
town.
PTSD to watching the Chernobyl TV show.
Yep.
You know?
Good
Ugh.
miniseries if you get a
Yeah,
chance.
really good. Really good. Everyone should watch it.
Wow.
Oh, this is a
Okay,
great
so
sequence.
Thomas just said that the radiation will penetrate the window. So why wasn't Jonas also hit with the radiation after Daniel blew out the glass?
Yeah, it's a great. I think that they're far enough away.
I think
that
it
it's not
hadn't
going to
reached
be-
it yet.
Right.
Yeah. So
Maybe?
I want to make a note of this, by the way. The other guy ran out of the room. Jonas stayed.
Thomas was like, he yeeted right out of there.
He yeeted right out. While Jonas is staying in the room and he's
Yeah.
like, you know, trying to help in his own way. But like everyone in the room is like, you know, gone. But they were really close.
The hero moment, folks.
Yeah, this is a
that's
beautiful moment.
good
It's so
action
simple,
sequence.
but
Yeah.
excellent.
I was at the little dots on his face at the beginning of the episode were from the radiation, but they're from the glass.
No, they're not. They're from the
Yeah.
glass.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
So
You
good.
can feel it.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Ugh.
Is it hotter on one side than the other? Because he only like pulled the cuff down over his hand on the left side.
I think it was
I
just
don't know how it
time.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he was just grabbing what he could when he could. And I think he burnt it initially and then went for it and then was like, well, screw it, it's
Yeah.
too late now. So
So I was going through Reddit as I do, and one person admitted that when they were younger, they really hated that Daniel was written out in this way. But now with like age and a better grasp of what was happening behind the scenes, their view has changed completely.
Michael wanted out.
And they now feel,
Yeah.
that the writers handled it really well.
Yeah.
And
This is
out
the
of
thing that annoys
countless
me is when they
possibilities.
attack the show because
Yeah,
one actor's
well,
made a decision.
They did choose a path that suited Daniel's character perfectly.
Yeah.
So like the self-sacrifice angle does fit like what we know of him. So I
And they
think
left
it's
it
well
open.
done.
Yeah,
They
because
did.
of Keb.
Yeah. There's a lot of TV shows that end really like pants and like Supernatural. I'm not gonna spoil it for people who haven't seen it, but it ends in a way that I expected it to end, but it felt so flat.
Yeah.
It didn't really have the hero's ending I wanted. While this
Yeah.
really does. This is how someone should be going out on this show if they're gonna go
Yeah.
out. It's
So
magical.
Morjana Kaufman said that William Waring's directorial debut
Yes,
is
in this
very
episode.
evident in these like stripped down gate room scenes.
Directorial.
Like
Yep.
so
got
he
lucky.
removed the usual equipment, including like the 50 caliber machine guns, and it created
Yep.
like that ethereal atmosphere. So
It's
Yeah.
them and the gate and the ramp, and that's it.
yeah, exactly.
Damn,
It was
what
a
a
good
gift
move.
to be given this episode as like your first, episode of the
I
show.
know it's
That's
massive
mad.
because he's gone on to do like some incredible things. Just
Mhm.
crazy.
Michael talked to me in his interview about leaving the show and having some goals for his life, and he was in Africa and shooting this series or movie. I forget what it was. And he was
I
looking
don't think he
outside of
said
his.
it.
He was looking outside of his place where he was staying, and he realized how small his problems were in comparison to other people's in the world, and that's when he chose to go. That's when he chose to go back
Yeah,
to accept
makes
Robert's
sense.
invitation to return.
Yeah.
exactly. So apparently there was supposed to be like an emotional scene where Sam and Tilk pass in the hallway
this is
outside of
cute.
Daniel's room.
Love that.
And the script called for like a simple silent acknowledgement between the two characters, but Amanda and Chris were overwhelmed with like genuine emotion as they were filming,
So they had
and they
Janet do
decided
that
to
bit.
improvise like a more heartfelt moment
Yeah.
with Sam like seeking comfort from Tilk, and so they embraced and showed vulnerability, which Amanda felt like beautifully demonstrated their friendship. But unfortunately, they like cut it
They
from
cut
this
the
episode.
shot. Yeah.
I feel like they
Yeah.
have so many good moments throughout the show, although I do like to just
Yeah.
retcon. I don't like to believe that they ever got into a relationship in unending because to me it didn't suit their characters. I
Agreed.
I can't look at it
Yeah.
like that.
Well,
I can't do it.
So, a lot of Gateworld fans on the forum found Tilk's goodbye to be the most emotional moment
Yep.
in this episode. And they felt it was like particularly heart-wrenching because Tilk is usually so stoic and controlled. And the fact that his voice cracks like during the
tremble.
farewell, I think
Yeah.
makes it like especially moving. Also, I wanted to talk about this platitude about the
candlelight?
candlelight and the meals and stuff. So there was like some interesting discussions online about this. So one interpretation suggests that it means if you think you instantly know the answer to something, your understanding is probably incomplete, and looking deeper often reveals more. So this sort of aligns with the show's themes of like questioning assumptions and seeking deeper
Great shot.
understanding. But Mel Harris felt this line like encouraged the viewers to look beyond the surface of the dialogue and the narrative. And I think the fact that we're still talking about it today, which is like 23 years later, I think suggests that, you know, they definitely achieved that. And I think, David, you said in your interview with Mel that the dialogue in question likely had no deeper meaning and was
I remember watching
essentially like unrelated to the main narrative. Like you called it a non sequitur.
I got the impression that it's something that we can't perceive.
Yeah,
Yes.
something profound that we
There
can't.
are
really
some
fully
things
see.
that are just beyond our understanding.
Yeah.
Mm.
I that's how I kind of always looked at it. I tried to understand it, and I tried to be like, well, if Mills a long time ago, then like, you know, the conclusion that you want, you already figured it out, but it just took you this long to get there, or something like that is how I tried to see it. But then eventually I just took David's thing and went, yeah, you know what? Just gonna like,
I'm just gonna stop analyzing this.
Yeah.
Or Lock Watcher, if the mac and cheese is cold, you did not activate the microwave.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it so much.
Oh, the old microwave, like it's like
Yeah.
steamy on the outside, but like still frozen in the center.
Classic.
This is Daniel really getting to it here, though.
Yeah.
I love her
it
line,
is.
your spirit cannot be weighed.
See, I feel like because she says the talks about the candlelight as fire, I feel like because she's saying it in relation to like these kind of conversations she's having, that's why I always thought that like, you know, Daniel's trying to make all these excuses, but in the end, you know, he
I think
cooked.
it's about looking
did
at,
it.
I think basically the whole platitude is about looking at the bigger picture, because
Yeah.
a candlelight is very small, whereas a fire is huge.
Oh God, see, we're
So,
analyzing it now. We found another way.
yeah.
It's beautiful. Love it. No, but that's a really good point though.
I love this line, too.
Good or evil. I always found that line a bit.
Well, it's very simple. I
struggle.
think that's why it
It's
hits
so
them so
simple.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think it simplifies it, but I do think there's something to be said there at the same time.
It's profound. Yeah.
I found the profoundness a bit too much for me. I think only because I only started thinking about it when I got older. And I think that in that line, I think I just watched Battlestar again when I rewatched this episode around when I started thinking about it. And like
Right.
what Cylons did was really evil. But to me, they're good because it's very complicated.
Yeah.
So I found that very black and white for me. I found that line a bit too straightforward. I would have liked it to be a bit more grey. I think, but that's just me.
I like how they positioned Jonas right there in front of the window, and there's that reflection
Yeah,
of the
it's
SGC
cool.
symbol right
Yeah,
next
That's
to
like
gonna
it.
be
it's
on
out
your
of-
shoulder at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yes,
A little foreshadowing, maybe. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
He's just such a good boy. Really frustrates me.
I love how the Colonans have not called to say, "Hey, you have something
Yeah.
of ours. We want it back." I
Exactly.
think they're
Where's
like they're
the
just like
traitor?
they're just done with Earth. They're just done.
Yep. Yep. It's okay. It's a friendly.
Hey,
It's Dad.
it's been a while since we've seen Dad.
Yeah.
Last
Yeah.
time we saw
Ravana.
him.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I did
Long
not
time
expect
ago.
Jacob to be in this episode. This was a good surprise.
Yeah.
Well, they kind of rammed it in right at the end, didn't they?
They really have. How long we got? Oh
Yeah.
my God, like 8 minutes. If
I
that.
know.
with
I
credits.
know.
We
remember
need a
when I was-
Tupper right
I-
now.
I watched this recently with my friends, and by recently I mean like last year with my friends Ben and Jordan when we were watching it together, because we were just hanging out. So we were like, oh, we'll just watch that because that's where they were at, and they were like dumbfounded. They were like, Nicole, why are you like acting upset right now? Because I looked so somber, and I was like, why do you think? They were like, he's gonna be fine. Just wait 2 minutes. Jacob's gonna fix him. And I was like, guys, they've spent the whole episode showing us that he's gonna
Why
die.
are they questioning you when you've seen the episode before?
They didn't believe me.
Well, they're
They
trying to
were like,
rationalize the situation.
yeah, they couldn't believe that he was actually gonna. It was so weird. It was.
I thought
It
you were
was funny.
lying to them.
Yeah, they thought I was like faking real good. I was like, I can't act that good. Like I'm pretty dodge at it. So
I love the implications of this. One, the hand device also provides the symbiote with like a diagnostics report, like a here's our situation.
Little
And
medical overview.
B, it doesn't do everything. It can't do everything.
No.
Their power is limited.
I feel like it could have maybe done something and just extended his life by maybe a day or two, and that's about it.
Yeah, well,
because,
like
yeah,
as
he
Jacob
tells him to
says, like
stop,
he
so.
he might be able to bring him back around, but he won't be the same.
Nope.
No point. See, the way that
So
Oma says
what's,
it, it's like, oh yeah, you can fix it, and it's like, but can you?
Yeah.
You can fix
So
some
this
of it.
kind of almost
Yeah.
sounds like a metaphor for Michael Shanks leaving the show. Like
Yep.
he's like, well, what if I don't want to continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like I said, I was on Reddit, and this is it's probably not very appropriate, but someone said, strike me down and I will become more powerful than you can possibly imagine, except not actually allowed to do anything.
Yeah. No, that's fair. Oh God, it's getting real sad now. Right. Well, this is just like, so what I like about this sequence is that like he can pull anyone out, right? And he pulls Jack, which makes me like, it makes me sad for the rest of SG-1, especially because Sam makes that comment next season where she's
She
like,
does.
she's like,
Get
she
to see
needed
him.
to see me, and that did make me sad.
Yeah,
But
that made me sad too.
that, you know, Jack is obviously like the leader, and it's their relationship that kind of built Stargate from the beginning.
Exactly.
So that's why, you know, I love the way he's so casual about this as well, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just so sweet.
So I've got quite a few notes to try and cram into
ham.
the next couple of minutes.
Go
So I
nuts.
was gonna preface, like, we know what he says, but he says, Jack says to Daniel, so what, see you around. So it's kind of cool to note that although it sounds like casual, it is something that carries a lot of weight, and it actually echoes their farewell from the original Stargate movie. Like Jack and Daniel say something similar to one another then.
Yeah.
And I think RDA's delivery is like subtle, but like really powerful.
Sweet,
like you can see the emotional like just underneath the surface, and Jack seems to sense somehow that this isn't truly the end for Daniel.
He's quite happy to see him go in a way, like in a positive way, you know.
Exactly.
He's not just dying.
And I think it's a great example of how far Jack has come
Like,
as a character.
Yeah.
Like he's learned to trust in the unknown, which is like a big thing in Stargate. And it really showcases like the unique bond between these two.
Yeah.
And this scene like sparked a lot of discussion among fans. Like many have pointed out how it perfectly balances Jack's character. Like he's not one of those big emotional displays, but you can tell like how much Daniel matters to him.
Yeah. Yeah, the way that he just said there, like, you remember Omi, it's like, sure, you know, it's like he just accepts it, moves on, you know. It's quite sweet, just the way that this whole sequence goes.
And Joe Malozzi said that Michael's departure from the show like really caught him off guard when he decided to leave. And from his perspective, there hadn't been like a lot of obvious signs that Michael was unhappy. So the show's leaders, especially Brad, were disappointed, but like they tried to be understanding, obviously. And their main goal was to give Michael a proper send-off. So what really surprised Joe was like the intense negative reaction from fans. He felt like they'd been treating Daniel's character well, and he pointed to episodes like Beast of Burden, Summit, Last Stand. And this reaction highlighted like kind of a disconnect, I think, between how the fans and the writers viewed the show. So while fans were like heavily invested in Jack and Daniel's relationship, the writers were trying to balance all four main characters.
Yeah. Chimera Victoria said the way that Janet says Colonel when she's freaking out about the thing. That was very emotional.
So
glad they all saw that.
On the tears in his eyes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna miss you guys.
I really like I was always kind of like, whoa, you know, about the whole Jack telling him to let him go, because he hasn't explained what's going on. He's just telling them to let him go. But then them seeing his ascended form leave, it's like they're like, oh, he's going to be okay, because they've seen Oma do her thing. They've seen the Harcesis kid do his thing, so they're like,
they're going to cease. He's going to continue to exist. You notice his line here is from the movie.
Yes,
that's what you did. I said a minute ago. Yeah.
So, Michael Shanks, I think, has had some interesting thoughts about this episode over the years. So, at the
Really?
time, he was pretty critical. Like, he felt the writers were in a tough spot trying to wrap up his story while
Yeah.
bringing in a new character. But he said that they kind of chickened out by emphasizing Daniel wasn't really dead, to avoid fan backlash. So, he worried that this approach didn't let viewers properly grieve and lessened the impact of Daniel's exit.
Left us
So
in
Michael
limbo.
also found it ironic that his last day on set was basically spent with his replacement. But I
Yeah.
think the day before was like a little bit more emotional, and he even felt like he had to comfort, the cast and crew, which was kind of like what Daniel was doing in this episode.
Yeah.
So I think now looking back, though, Michael's view has changed a lot, and he
Yeah.
sees Meridian as like the great piece of entertainment that it was, even if it's sad. And he now calls it like a perfect send off for both Daniel and himself as an actor.
Mm.
Um, I also came across a discussion online that got me thinking, and it's like kind of a tough question, but I was curious to know what you guys thought. So, do you think that the show would have fared okay if Daniel Jackson hadn't returned? Like, would SG-1 have been like adversely affected?
No.
Because some characters, like some people online, were saying that like his character was really important and it would have led to the show's early cancellation if he didn't return. But I think that's like putting way too much weight on the
I
character.
feel like Daniel was a lot of the time the heart, but I think that they all kind of became the heart in a way, which is why I think it was okay when RDA left. Like it was sad, and you could see him slowly leaving around season 6 onwards. He was kind of not appearing as much, but I honestly don't think that his departure would have killed the show in any way. I do think it would have made it less enjoyable in some aspects, but I think it could have handled it. So
I agree.
That was Meridian. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. I'm not crazy about season 6.
I love the first chunk of episodes. I think the first eight, 7 are really good.
Just in answering the previous question that was posed.
Yeah.
That if Daniel had not returned, I think that it would have been similar to seasons 9 and 10 of SG-1 without Rick.
Yeah.
It would have been different. So, yeah.
For me, that's not the case. So, ironically, my favorite episodes of season 9 and 10 are the ones that feature Vala, because I found her such a breath of fresh air, which is, I think, what Michael kind of described her as when he was saying that it was getting a bit old, the whole Stargate thing, which is one of, like, you can really feel that.
Yeah.
But my favorite episodes of season 6 are the ones, I love Abyss, obviously. But I think my favorite ones are like some of the early ones that just don't feature him at all, because we get so many good episodes and so many great ways to stretch that stuff out. So, but yeah, I mean, Yvie, what do you think? I mean, you lost RDA and he's your number one boo. So like,
yes. Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed season 6, but it was good to have him return as well, because it was like, I don't know, it was a bit more familiar, and it was like welcoming back an old friend. So as much as I did really appreciate Corin as Jonas, and I thought he did a fantastic job, it was still good to see Michael Shanks return. So and like you kind of said before, there is some like amazing episodes after he returns. Like 7 and 8 are like 2 of my favorite seasons.
Yeah.
So but like I do like season 6 for what it is.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's like a I don't know, it's a little bit offbeat, I guess. Like it's not quite the same, and you do feel the difference, but I still find bits to enjoy. Do you know what I mean? I love Metamorphosis. It's like one of my favorite episodes.
Oh, really?
Of that
Okay.
season.
I actually don't
and
love
Abyss
it,
is
but
so good. Abyss is so good.
Yes.
Sad but good.
I will say as well, commenting on the previous stuff about like Michael being so critical of like that episode, or really like
Initially
judging it more.
critical.
Initially,
Yeah.
I do feel like, from what I heard about Michael over the years, because I don't know him like that well personally, I've only met him a couple times. I feel like when he was younger, obviously he was trying to like pursue his career and he was trying to get a lot done. And he wanted like more for himself and to push himself more. And I feel like as he's gotten older, he's like settled into accepting like how great he's had it, and like how he's so talented, and he doesn't need to be like huge Hollywood star to be wonderfully talented. And I think that really like I just love that he came back. I do.
For sure.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to cover between these two, so
yeah,
I'm just going to
so
be quick. This is a 7 out of 7 for me. The performances are amazing. The guest star was wonderful. This is one of the tightest episodes that there is. I don't feel the need to stretch that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna also go with a 7. I don't think I could go any other direction because it's so well. It's well written, it's well acted, it's put together well. I actually didn't mind that they were jumping between timelines. I think the way that it unravels was really special. So yeah, a 7 for me as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just a 7 as well. Yeah, I mean, compared to other episodes, there are other episodes that are like better for like story and stuff and like world building, but this is like the loss of Daniel, the proper time. So I definitely do give this a 7. Am I supposed to be doing the thing now, or am I doing it later?
Do it now.
Let's get through what everyone's votes are.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've got to do that, don't I? Oh my God, I've got so much stuff to do.
It's all about us.
So much talking.
No, there's so much going on in my brain right now. I'm trying to remember. Right. Okay. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Anthony, 6 out of 7. Robin, 7 out of 7 Shebs. So Anthony said this one is a strong 7 for me. Any episode that can still produce a tear or lump in my throat after 23 years deserves a 7. So he went for 6 or 7. That's what he said. Sorry, and he said 7. Nick Nass, 7. I loved the Ascension. Shimmering Victoria, 6. Whenever I watch it, I remember Daniel talking about it in Heroes Part 2, and I get even sadder. Yep. Gene Diada, how can this be anything except 7 chevrons? Yep. Lockwatcher, this is a 7 for me. The acting was great. Some true emotion was here, as all the actors knew that Michael was leaving the series. The transition was stunning, leaving through the Stargate. OMG! Exclamation mark. Stuart Miller, a 7 chevrons. Raj Luther, everything from Meridian is a high 6, so 7 out of 7 chevrons. A good way to get out around the decimal situation. Jed Ted, 7. And Becca said 7 for me too. Robin said, I think they generally did a good job writing people in and out of the show. I agree. And Jean Diada said, I was actually going to ask Jean Diada because she's a very big Daniel person about the loss of him this season. I think the latter of season 6 suffers from the new suits chiming in for a channel named Sci-Fi. They didn't seem to understand the genre at the decision-making level. I do quite agree, actually. The latter part of season 6 wasn't great.
Yeah.
That's where my gripe is. And Raj Ruth said season 6 is one of my favorite seasons of SG-1, but still happy that Michael Shanks returned as Daniel Jackson, though I wish Corin stayed for more episodes. I'm glad the consensus is kind of overall the same.
Yeah.
Okay, so am I doing this thing? And like I've got to remember the beat now. Oh, Yvie, can you just do the first line for me really quickly? How
about we let people know what's going on, Yvie?
Yeah, Yvie.
Okay, all right. So, a couple of years ago, I think I was just trying to distract myself from the whole COVID thing, and I decided to rewrite the lyrics to Billy Joel's Allentown and call it Kelowna Town. So. I guess I saw I was sort of inspired by Allentown because it's about a town that's going through a bit of turmoil, and I think it's more to do with I think it might be to do with mining, but I think it kind of worked, bringing out some of the themes in Meridian. So we thought we'd do another dramatic read through like we did with Like a Tokra with Jeff.
I wish Jeff was here.
But Nicole has volunteered to do it.
I volunteer as tribute.
we have a volunteer.
Do that because eventually I've got to sci-fi it up somehow. So I'm gonna do that. There we go. Wrong show, but I'm doing it. Yeah. So I don't know the song very well. I've heard it briefly in the past, so I'm gonna do this very poorly. But Evie's done a great job, and I had fun doing it earlier. So I'm gonna talk this through because I can't sing it through.
No, don't sing it now.
Yeah. So
you can do it.
Well, we're living in Kelowna town where they've taken a quadria from the ground, and the government is killing time, waiting for war, lying their lies. Towery say we're circa Second World War, tension local and across the shore. Warned us bombs can do much more than blow. War is a dance, ruin ain't slow, and we're living in Kelowna town. But the restlessness was handed down, and it's getting very hard to stay. Well, we're waiting in Kelowna town for the answers Thanos never wrote down. Vows of gate lessons our kindred gave. If we shared nice, if we behaved. We thought the science would prevent our downfall, but it never really helped us at all. No, it never taught us what was real. Allies and truth, power for shields. and we're waiting in Kelowna town. But we're burying good folk underground, and the council people crawled away. Every person had a pretty good shot at being as naive as the government got. Something happened when they came from deep space. They threw "I told you so" right in our face. Well, I'm living in Kelowna town, and it's hard to keep a good Quinn down. But he won't be giving up today, and we're living in Kelowna town.
Yay!
It's actually really good. It's really good. Thank you, Yvie.
I was an AI to do that.
Yeah.
I was reading through that, and I was like, oh, and then there's a little Jonas bit at the end, and I was like, I'm glad you got a little.
I know you gotta end it on Jonas, but yeah, I just thought it was a good song to use as a skeleton.
Well, there's mining and stuff in
what's
within
happening
the
in Kelowna, because we don't really think about what's happening on Kelowna.
I didn't really know the lyrics that well, so when I was reading it, I was like, this works perfectly. So yeah, and I had the music video going as well, so I was like, while trying to do it. So yeah.
All right, guys, Revelations, you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, let me get that up.
I am really excited because this is some very good fallout.
I love Anna Louise Plowman, and she's back.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. All right, I'm ready to go when you are.
Nicole?
Yep.
All right. Revelations. Let's end season 5 on a bang in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Wormhole Extremists. My name is David. I'm with Nicole.
Hello.
And Yvie.
Hello.
And this is Revelations, SG-1 522.
And we're recapping some really good times.
Yeah.
And some bad times, because I just see Daniel dying now, and now that's bad. So.
Oh.
Anubis is coming.
Yeah.
And after this, there was no season 6. There was just going to be a movie of some sort. More than likely a motion picture. They were going to continue the story, though.
So what I find really funny is actually there's Daniel and Jack are not very they're not great at the emotion sometimes, and I do feel like Sam and Teal'c lean on each other so much, and they have a moment here, and then they have moments in season 8 when Jack's frozen as well, and it's just I find it really funny and cute that they're always the ones and not Daniel or Jack for the leaning of the shoulder situations.
I love that shot.
Yeah, it's very good CGI money. You can see the money.
So this guy here, I think his name is PJ Joel. So this is his only Stargate role, but he actually most recently appeared as another comms officer in Ahsoka. So I think there's kind of a bit of a correlation there, very similar roles.
Yeah. God, she's so
she's you know what? She's goading Thor, or Gewalding Thor.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Gewobbled equivalent of I double dare you. Don't you think?
Yeah, double dog dare.
I double dare you.
The way that she baits him and then has this happen, and she's so smug. I also love the physical acting they have to do, where they have to be like, here's how you're gonna move for this scene when you're getting thrown around a little bit.
Yes.
Her outfit kind of reminds me of Sigourney Weaver's outfit from the Alien Resurrection
I was thinking
film.
That. Yeah. The movie that we're not going to make Yvie
The
watch.
ribs.
But yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
From the Alien that's kind of modified
I'll
to
send you
show
some
the
pickies.
Influence. Yeah.
Okay.
Because she's a hybrid of a human and a xenomorph.
Right.
Yeah.
So while Michael Shanks sort of lends his voice to Thor,
not sort of, definitely
he's back. He's back.
This sort of marks his last appearance in the main cast until season 7. So this is the only season finale where we don't see Daniel in person.
Yep.
Oh,
good point.
So this is the last original episode to air on Showtime. So from season 6 onwards, the series found a new home on the Sci-Fi Channel. And I believe that this episode scored an Emmy nomination for Outstanding Special Visual Effects for a Series and a VES Award nomination for Best Character Animation. And it also took home a Gemini Award for the Best Visual Effects category.
Say goodbye to the old credits from the movie.
Yeah, I was going to say,
thank God.
Peace out. So boring to look at.
Is this not a picture of James Spader from the movie?
No, it's Daniel.
I always thought
Daniel?
it was.
Yeah.
Just his hair was so,
Yeah, they have the same image as playback in There Before the Grace of God when Daniel's in the alternate reality.
Yes, they do.
You're right. It's a tighter shot of him. But yes.
So, I think it would have been really easy for them to jump ahead a couple of months and like gloss over the immediate aftermath of Daniel's death. But I think it's like really admirable that they chose to continue the story like literally right after it happened.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this way we get to see how each of the characters is processing the loss. So
Yeah.
I talked a little bit about the 5 stages of grief during the Meridian commentary. In this episode, we see more of that play out.
I'm
So
glad I'm
Jack,
not the only
Sam,
one
and Tilk.
who smells books, by the way. But continue.
Yeah,
Oh,
ditto.
no, I smell them too. So Sam, Jack, and Tilk are all at like different points of their grieving
Yep.
journey, and I think it's
Yeah.
really fascinating to watch. Like Jack's case is probably a little bit different though, because his like conversation with
You
Daniel
got
in
to see
that
Daniel go.
surreal gate room kind of sets his experience apart from the others.
Well,
And
my
it's
single
likely
favorite
that
scene
he's
from
on a
this
slightly
episode
different path.
It's the breeze.
is
The
all them
breeze.
just
Oh,
being quiet,
please.
you know,
Yeah.
aboard
Yeah.
the cargo
Oh,
ship.
yeah.
There's
Except
no-
for Jack's like awkward cough.
Well, except for his cough. Yes, they're all together but apart.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep. Yep. So I think this is the first time as well that we've learnt that Hammond served in Vietnam,
Mhm.
which kind of adds another very interesting layer to his backstory.
Yeah.
Jack also has Vietnam medals.
Mm.
Mm.
My dad wore a POW bracelet for years until they
Oh,
finally
wow.
found the remains just a few years ago and returned it to the
gosh.
family. Yep.
Mm.
And you will learn to live with it as well.
Yeah.
But that's a good analogy, you know, Daniel's ascension and not knowing what happened to your friend shot down in war.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's like a comfort, you know. She knows where Daniel is and what happened. So
And I'd really love to know how Carter identifies Freyr before he's opened his mouth.
That's what I was gonna say.
Because Vala later
like,
asks Daniel, how do you know who's who? And Daniel says,
The
of
voice.
course, the voice.
the voice, exactly, because
Yeah.
there's like a little joke about him
isn't it
doing
Mitchell
Thor.
who's like, I thought they'd wear pants, you know?
Yeah. So I think the last time we saw Freyr, Jack was insulting their mother.
Yep.
Yep.
It's seamless. He's so seamless.
Yeah.
Were we to do the show today, I don't think that they need to do a puppet, you know?
Yeah.
Now that we've come this far. So I always think of season 5, yeah, they finished on a high note. They had a little bit of money left over, and they handed it over to Vanden Bigler and a few other members of Image Engine to create these characters. And we talked about that in
Yes.
my interview with him a couple of months ago. I can't recommend that enough because he
Like they
goes
say
into
he's killed
detail on
as
how
well.
they did this.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
It's not technically dead, Thor. I will say that, like,
Yeah.
you know, the season finale, big budget. It's the end of this season. We've talked before. I've complained massively about how much Stargate season finales really miff me off because they always fall a bit flat compared to other episodes in the season.
Yes.
And this is one that falls flatter, but because of Anubis and all the like, whoa, it's more exciting than a lot of others. I think my favorite one's been the season 4 finale so far.
Yeah. So I think Freya's basically saying the protected planets treaty isn't cancelled. We're just putting a pin in it.
Yeah. Like,
It's
the
great
cooldowns
on
get stronger than
paper,
us.
but if they have more
Exactly.
if they have better weaponry, what do you do? There's nothing you can do except upgrade your weaponry. And I think what he's saying here is that they have the power with the O'Neill class ships, but they can't afford to divert them.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
replicators, Rama.
So Jack is about to kind of, yeah, it's sort of like a play on Nick Marlowe's catchphrase, "Hey, it's what we do," like
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Wormhole Extreme.
Yeah. And they
Also,
need
what I find
something
about
to do.
yeah, his reaction
Yeah,
is that you need
exactly.
something
Let's
to
get us
do
out of
because,
this
you know,
friggin' base.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
we're
They
just
need a
standing around being
distraction.
sad. We
Yeah.
don't need Daniel for this one. We'll be okay.
Yeah.
Sam's not happy about it. But
No,
yeah.
obviously. Oh, no, Nash is good. Yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah.
Here we go.
Don't know. Yeah.
So Joe Malozzi shed some light on Sam's emotions here. He pointed out that Sam wasn't really angry at Jack, but rather like kind of concerned for him. So she struggled with wanting to help Jack cope with Daniel's absence while realizing that he kind of needed space to grieve on his own.
Everyone grieves differently, and that's what I love about this scene right here.
Jed Ted says, doesn't Tara Rothery voice for Asgard? Isn't it Fred?
She does. No, she voices Heimdall.
No, she voices
Heimdall. Sorry, it is Heimdall.
Yeah.
Oh, no, of course it's not Fred.
I was gonna.
Minutes.
I'll go through that in a second because I got some behind the scenes stuff.
And she and Craig Vandenbiller spent a lot of time together making this character work. Interesting choice to just cough there.
Yeah, I know.
Just a little.
Just like
you never hear sneezes unless they're, scripted in that one episode of Atlantis where it was necessary to the plot, So yeah, I love it.
And
just
Daniel at
the
beginning,
there. Yeah,
with his hay fever.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
this is what I mean. It's this. They have a similar thing in season 8 as well.
This scene took several takes. They were crying and crying and crying, and they were like, "Guys,
very powerful.
We have to have one where you're not crying." And they finally got one out, but it took several takes to get through it.
But you can actually see Christopher Judge has a tear right at the corner of his eye.
He's been crying all day.
It's like watching Unending again, where they were trying to do the end, and you just see them all bawling, and you're like, "We can see it." The way she called him out, it's crazy. I love it. Yeah, I love the way Teal'c's trying to be like, look, a good thing has happened here, Oof. Yeah, You still are a team.
She feels like she's on her own.
She was the four of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris is having a crappy day.
Yeah, he is.
I wonder how they felt going into season 6, being like, "Oh God, we've lost our friend. We're going into a new season."
It was different for them.
Yeah.
See, look at him.
This is the hardest.
I just want to give him a big cuddle.
I'm not gonna lie, right? I did not break during the last episode, but this right here, I want to break, and I'm not letting myself break because I'm only a few minutes into this episode.
He's coming back. He's coming back. He'll get his own Genesis device.
Yeah.
I love this exchange too. She's just at her wit's end with him. She's like, you know what? I'm just not having it.
I wish I didn't mention it. How slim? Not mention.
Look at her. She's done.
She's done.
You did mention it. They're like, they even Jack's like
points for you, girl. Points for you.
Oh dear. It's funny because she's like kind of mad that she feels so alone in the situation, and Jack's like, nothing.
Yeah,
yeah.
He's gonna let certain things slide. Of course he will. Right now,
he's gonna push our buttons a little bit there. I think he's kind of trying to create a normal work situation,
work environment.
I think he's just upset. When I'm hangry, when I haven't eaten, I lash out at people. Like I snip.
With
at
him,
people.
I felt it was a slight snip, but it was also this is the kind of asshole I usually am to Sam.
Oh, really?
So I'm going to continue that energy.
No, I didn't see that at all. I didn't think of it that way at all.
Yeah, that's how I see it. When someone's mad at me, David, and I usually try to be my most annoying self to try and get them to smile and
Nicole,
go back to normal. So.
When could anyone ever be upset with you?
Hush now, David. We know that's bull.
Oh my God, that was dripping with so much sarcasm. I need a mop.
Yeah. I'm beginning to wish I hadn't mentioned it. 420 Fahrenheit.
Just
God. Okay, so that's 216 degrees Celsius for my metric buddies.
Yeah, one way or another, it's hot. No matter how you slice it.
It's sizzling hot. Yeah.
It's getting
This is how we locate. I love this set. I don't know what those things are. They look like just painted sheets of paper, but
like
it's
wet
so
paper
cool.
they let dry weird.
Yeah. So we kind of preface this already, but Tara Rothery, aka Doc Fraser, provides the voice of Heimdall in this episode. So her role went a little bit beyond just the voice work. So director Martin Wood explained that Heimdall was their first fully computer-generated character, and they needed Terrell on set as a stand-in.
Hang on just a second here. Wait just a second. Brad was like, we're shaking his hand, and Craig Vandenbiller was like, that's going to be very expensive. Like, well, we're shaking the hand. He's like, well, we'll just do it off camera. And Jack is like,
he's so
shaking.
good.
Such an aggressive shake.
Right.
So, Terrell, when they were filming, she wore a black leotard with
Yep.
Heimdall's image printed on it and like a stocking mask to hide her face. So this was to help the other actors focus on where Heimdall's face would be rather than on Terrell herself.
Except her
But
face
the
would
setup
be...
led to some on-set hilarity. So Heimdall was shorter than Terrell, so the alien's face ended up right on her chest. So to make matters more amusing, they apparently added 2 small lights over the alien's eyes for the actors to focus on. So according to Martin Wood, Rick and Chris could barely keep it together when they had to address Terrell's chest.
They had to stare at her
even in
chest
editing,
all day.
Brad Wright struggled to keep a straight face with these shots came up, so which is understandable. And I think Terrell revisited that story at GateCon.
Oh,
well.
absolutely. She brings that up every
Yeah.
now and then. That's her own. That's her only real story when it comes to Heimdall. Osiris.
Love her.
Supreme Commander, but we'll skip that.
Yes, yeah.
He can't reach his finger out and like.
He
Be
can't
like, "Hey."
get the finger.
So I'm assuming, did Michael do this beforehand, or did he do it in
Yeah,
like ADR?
he's
afterwards?
contracted. Well, I mean, he probably is not on set giving the dialogue. He did it ADR, but he was contracted for season 5.
Okay.
So, and this would be a great time to bring Thor back because you really need to park his character somewhere where Michael is gone.
Yes. I
Yeah.
was wondering if they did that deliberately. They put him in a coma.
It's actually
deliberately.
quite sad that we've not only lost like Daniel, but now we're losing Thor for a while because Michael is gone. Like
Yeah.
it's hilarious that
You have to do
we're
something
having to
with the
say goodbye to
character.
2 people.
Yep.
Well, we only lose Michael technically, I think it's for 6 episodes, but
Yeah.
being that this would have been between seasons, they would have probably had a few months break, I imagine. So it was
Yeah.
probably about 6 months or something.
Ooh, they can see symbiotes.
Yeah, this comes up later, the color coding. I'll mention it.
How would they read Anubis? I don't think they do.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to read Anubis because this is just
He's
based on
just-
human
he's a
form and
shield
symbiote.
holding
Yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
They see his guard walking by,
do.
like the whole battalion. I'm going to pay attention to the dots.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get holographic technology from this. They're going to get, gosh, I forget.
I always wondered
Even
how his
more
brain
shield
was
upgrades,
supposed
I would
to
think.
survive the whole because the thing they put in his head is pretty big, right?
This
And I was
clone
like,
dies.
Well, that's the thing, right? They stick it in Jonas next, and he's fine.
Well,
But, like,
I mean, the Asgard
I
are
don't
far
know.
more frail
Don't
than
you?
we are.
Yeah.
So.
It's a pretty big thing they put in his
But
head.
yeah,
so
they
I
could have
think
killed
that,
Jonas
like-
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, like despite Thor being a puppet with like limited facial mobility, I think the animators managed to like suggest fear and trepidation just with the slight opening and closing of his jaw quite well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love how they go back to Heimdall's base and RDA's just bent over.
just bent
and
over,
they're just
yeah,
like,
it's
They
so
emphasize behind, of course.
Yes.
They bring in the comedy in.
Yep.
Hey, what's up, pal?
Who just don't know where to look. Yeah, how you doing? Well, obviously not well.
Rick loved working with the puppet.
He did, yeah. There's some very cheesy pictures of him like
Oh,
posing
yeah.
next to one of
Holding
them.
All
his
I think about
hand, yeah.
you mentioned them winning like the different awards, like was it the Gemini
Yes.
Award and stuff like that.
Mhm.
All I can think about is that one behind the scenes video from season 8 of like RDA, Amanda, and Chris sitting there, and he's like, "I want to thank you all for this award," and he's like being he's
Oh,
got the
yes,
Thor
I have
puppet and he's
seen that.
slapping the award.
Can you
Really
imagine
funny.
if Rick didn't like the puppet? If he was
Oh,
irritated with dealing with this thing?
Oh, no, that
it
wouldn't have been
worked.
the same.
you know?
No.
I'm glad he liked the puppet.
Yeah. Oh, there's some Goulds walking by.
So there's four guys walking in, right? So is it going to track Anubis?
Anubis
Is that
isn't
in,
on
like,
board yet. That's what
No,
we're
he's not
gonna
on
wait to
board
see.
yet.
Yeah, he comes in later
Yeah.
on. They're still waiting on. You'll
Well,
see his
he's
ship
like
show
in the
up.
middle of like a whole gaggle of ghouls, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
he has like
The
a
ninja
entourage.
Jaffa who pull out their swords in like descent, but actually
I
never
quite
cut
like
anyone
the
with them.
ninja Jafar. I thought they were quite
Yes,
cool.
that's right.
I feel like the cutting would be a bit extreme for Stargate on the Sci-Fi Channel. I feel like maybe
Maybe.
they didn't want that level of gruesome.
So you've got two different types of Asgard stones here. The ones in front of Heimdall right now are the sharper ones that look more triangular, and then the ones on the old panel from the end of season 3
ones?
are rounder.
Yes.
Yeah.
Round, right.
So I think that the ones in front of him may be the ones that they used in Unending.
Oh, okay.
They're definitely based on the same molds, the same design. A little prop trivia for you there.
Updated.
Yep.
Cool.
Because I didn't remember them going back this far with the triangular ones, and clearly they're sitting right in front of him. They couldn't all be CG.
Yeah, they are.
Just the ones that he moves. Oh, this is a big discussion. I'm blowing right through.
Yeah. So, this kind of little plot twist sort of adds another layer of vulnerability to Earth's most advanced allies.
And it plays straight through Unending.
Well, as if they didn't have enough to contend with the battle against the replicators. They've got this now.
They're impending
So,
death.
the genetic flaw storyline apparently was a big game changer. So, I think Joe Malozzi said it was either introduced by Brad Wright or Robert C. Cooper, and their goal was to shake things up and subvert audience expectations about the established Stargate mythology. And he described it as a huge development. And I think, David, you pointed out, I think you actually just said a few seconds ago that this storyline slowly unfolds for like 5 years and continues to be a major plot point for the rest of the series.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
His work fails. They don't solve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, they don't.
So, and I talked with Joseph Malazzi about this with the Vanir. Could they have the evil Asgard? Could they have ultimately brought them back, re-downloaded their minds from the Asgard core board, the Odyssey? And he said, yes, that was a possibility. They could have gone that way. Yeah. Because we
I do like the
downloaded
fact
them from
that
computers
they-
before.
That they have
Yes.
to, that they have this, because they've almost got this god level mode where you look at them and you're like, you can do anything, and it's like, oh, you actually can't.
You actually can't. Yeah.
No, they can do more than us, but that's about
Yeah.
it. Oh, she's so delicious in this.
Yeah.
I love her.
She
I
is.
love that you used the word
always loved
delicious.
her. She's delicious.
Yeah, she is. I agree. Very much so.
Yeah, no.
She knows that
arguments here.
she's in control, and he's like, I'm getting the heck out of here.
I feel like for me, she really dropped off the map. I never really saw her appearing.
She was
in
in
things. I
Europe.
saw her. Yeah, I saw her briefly in The Witcher. I always just worried. No, I always wondered if it was because of who her like mother-in-law was, and she was just living a nicer, easier life with her family. At home.
she was making babies too. So about
Yeah,
this
that's what I
time
was
in a
wondering,
couple of
the
years,
combination.
she and Toby Stevens, Maggie Smith's son, she started having kids.
Yeah.
So that's I tried to get her for interviews,
Focus
and I
on
just
that.
couldn't. She's
Yeah.
she's declined now like 3 times. I just can't, and I would
No.
love to. I would pay money to have her.
I'm glad that
Yeah.
you were able to get rejected and still love her so much. It's a beautiful thing.
Well, you
yeah.
can't take it personally.
You
Yeah,
can't.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not owed anything.
No, that's true.
So if I had money, I would pay her. I don't.
I'm just saying, David. I respect it. I appreciate that you're just so
you
mature and take it so
appreciate
well.
his moxie, like for
Yeah.
trying multiple times.
You can let it bother you,
Yeah.
but there's no utility to that.
It's just
Here
not
he
worth
comes.
it.
No.
Yeah.
Here comes the big boy,
Yeah.
my favorite. Can't wait. I love how what's funny with him. So like Apophis really annoyed me because he just wouldn't die, but he wasn't even like that great. He was pretty
Anubis was
basic.
the kind of
know?
that situation in the second half of the
Yeah.
show.
No, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I'm saying that Anubis is that as well. However, because he's like ascended being and has so much cool, crazy stuff going on, and he's so powerful, I can actually believe that he's harder to kill. Ironically, actually, he I think he's been around longer, but he dies quicker.
Yeah.
And that's quite astonishing. But yeah, I find that I get less mad at Anubis constantly surviving because he's just so
Yes.
epic,
Yep, I agree. I'm in the same boat as you.
Here they come.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to see Anubis.
Well, I think we're about to see some of the sets that we previously visited on Wormhole Extreme, for the scene where Martin
Yes.
Lloyd and Jack hide from the Men in Black
That's
on the
them.
unused
They
soundstage. stage.
sure were.
Yep. So I don't know if you'll know this, David, but this, or the chat, someone. Is his name David Palfy?
Yes.
I was going
yeah.
to mention David.
I was
yeah.
going to say,
Palfy.
is he playing him in this episode?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Apparently there was actually like a lot of fan confusion because, you know, his name appears in the credits and
Sokar.
viewers
Never
were
seen him.
familiar with him as Sokar. So
Yeah.
Everyone
they
was
didn't,
like, was there a
immediately
connection?
connect him with Anubis.
And
Yeah.
David even played with it for a little while. He was like, yeah, maybe. And it was clear later on, no, there was no connection. So.
Isn't he also Erica Durance's
Yes.
Yes,
And
husband,
they have
yes.
2 or 3 beautiful kids together.
Yeah, I've been rewatching a lot of Smallville lately, and every time I remember that, I'm like, wow, she's
Yeah.
married to Anubis. She married Michael Shanks in another show. He tried to kiss her in Smallville, like that his character, and
Yes.
they, hung out in Stargate. And she made out with Teal'c, and I'm like, girl,
She did.
you be getting through the cast in like a nice way, in a not gross way, but it's just funny.
Erica Durance is also related through marriage to Christopher Judge. So.
Oh my god!
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Really?
Okay,
I
she
think
made out
her
with a relative,
sister
kind of.
is Christopher Judge's brother's wife.
Actually,
think
no, I did
that's
know
the
that.
connection. Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yes,
Yeah,
they're
I
all
think you're
family.
right.
So David Palfy
That's
is
hilarious.
Christopher's through marriage.
So they were
his,
related at the time when she had to make out with him in season 8.
No, this was before they were married.
Okay, I was gonna say a lot of weird.
They married shortly after.
Yeah. Whew. That'd be a fun Thanksgiving or whatever.
Here
they're
they
gonna be doing,
come.
Here they
Christmas.
come.
Hey.
So these like ninja Jafar, they have like a different marking. It's like on the side of the head.
Yes.
Yeah. I love that he's like another level where he like has, Ninja Jafar. That's
Yes.
really cool.
Ninja Jafar.
He's got regular Jaffa and then he's got Ninja Jaffa.
See, if they were walking around on Earth when that guy was like ninjas, it would have made more sense.
Oh yes.
Did we see their dots?
No, we've not seen dots.
No, I
yet.
didn't see any dots.
But there was like 8 or 9 of them there, so I'm just like, I was losing count with how many because they kind of panned the camera. to
Okay,
Anubis.
so Goof coming up. It's in about just less than a minute. So keep an eye out. Actually, where am I going?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so keep an eye out. You'll see. Actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Oh, Yvie, it's okay.
It's okay.
That's okay.
I think that they missed an opportunity because we see his face later on and everyone's like, what the heck is that? And they could have said something about this. Something's coming by you. It's scrambling the sensors. We don't know what it is. They really could have done that. And that would have been
they
cool.
could have done
It's
that.
like, well,
That would
what
have been,
is he?
That would have
then?
been awesome.
Yeah.
And then
And
we
that's
see
really
the
exciting thing, is
face
you
and it's
don't know
like,
what he is.
we don't even know now. It even makes it worse.
I was saying Apophis was quite scary early on because you knew little about the Gould, but then once you
Yes.
learn and you start gunning them down left and right, it's like no biggie.
I think you'll actually see some of the Jaffa in this patroller sporting Apophysis mark.
Really?
I think so. Yeah,
Hey,
they're not
look,
all. It's not all the same.
Mike
It's my
Dopu.
boo.
Mixture.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love the Hey Guys diversion. Like it's like
That was
straight
very
out of the Air
Jack.
Force Special Ops playbook.
Yeah.
It's like I recognize him.
Distractions for Dummies, the book.
Yes.
Yeah, so it just shows that they absorbed their
it's
armies.
So
But,
I really like Mike Dopood.
Yeah.
He is such a gem. I actually missed my photo op with him at GateCon because I think I was so invested in the Stargate Universe thing that I was like, oh no, I missed it. And then he ran back just to get the photo with me, and I was like, thank you.
Oh, that's right. He did.
I kept telling him how much I love him in Universe. Yeah, the way he slaps her bum a little bit there, I was like, oh,
Well,
Jack,
I
you
don't
naughty
like.
man.
Why do they walk through him when they could have easily gone around her?
Because
I think they did it on purpose
they're
for the joke,
playing with
right?
her. Yeah.
Yeah. A very expensive joke, but they
Of
had budget
course,
for it this
absolutely.
Yeah,
time.
very expensive.
Yeah, that would probably cost $5,000 each, just like a puzzle
Yeah.
pass.
God.
Oh,
So,
here we go.
Anytime he does anything,
According
it's
to
like, oh, money.
according to Joe's blog, so he had initially imagined a more, shall we say, cheeky version of this scene. So in this concept, Thor gradually realizes that Anubis's interrogation device was meant for a rather different part of his anatomy, like think lower and further
He
back.
doesn't have. He doesn't
So
have that.
Joe joked that he still regrets missing the opportunity to have the Asgard unleash a string of colorful curses. But yeah, it's just funny.
There we
Yeah.
go.
I love this because you're like, what the hell even is he? Like, doesn't he
Yeah.
have face? Like,
Well, I think Brad
look at
Wright
it.
was he was kind of inspired by the Emperor in Star Wars.
Yep. Rainmaker
Yeah,
was
with, like, disfigured
told to
Palpatine,
present
like,
10
on
different
the
versions,
on the camera.
and Bruce Woloshyn
Yeah.
offered 11. The 11th was
Wow.
a smiley face.
Oh, that would have been really
A yellow
creepy.
smiley face. Yeah.
So, I think this idea for like Anubis not having a face came quite late in the game. But yeah, I think it works.
June Diada said, I hated the decision of Anubis' face. It's something I hope to see fixed in a remaster someday, along with Daryl the Dragon.
Okay,
Perhaps
so
Puff.
this is the bit that I was going to mention before, but I got ahead of myself. So keep an eye out. You'll see Amanda tapping duck down at the edge of the set on the right-hand side, waiting to appear as a hologram.
I
It's
feel
just
like
in a
I've
few
noticed
seconds
this
time.
before.
Yeah, I noticed it
Yeah.
before, yeah.
So flip.
God, she's such a wow. Yeah.
Look how they look at one
wow.
anner.
Yeah,
They're like,
I
oh,
know.
we did not sign
They're
up for
trapped.
this.
Yeah,
There's nothing they can
exactly.
do.
That's exactly what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So you'll see
Well,
her
what
just in
did
the
you
corner
sign
there.
up for?
There she is.
Oh, Amanda. She's really trying to hide there.
She is.
I missed
She's
it.
like really squished.
She is
Oh, really?
really
It was
there.
really
She's just
obvious.
there.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe she should have hid closer to the camera so that when it went past her, it didn't see her as much. But because she was at the back
Yep.
corner, it kind of saw her more.
Yes, yep. So
Oh.
there's also a small continuity slip up coming up. So when Sam is looking at the display, it puts Jack's green dot nearest to the door of the cell that they're in. But the actual scene shows Tilk closest to the door with Jack lying further back.
I see. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Jean Diaz said, I'm watching on a square box version, so no Amanda for me. I was going to say, you must have to have a more boxy screen.
Ah.
Nice.
4x3.
Smart. That's actually an issue that happened with Buffy, the DVDs. The HD release of Buffy made them widescreen instead of square. So all the scenes where like they deliberately left things because they were like, oh, well, no one will see it because it's a square
Oh, no.
TV screen. You can see everything. It's pretty embarrassing. I'm going to send you a video about it later, Evie, because it's actually really funny to watch even if you don't like Buffy.
I wonder what happened to this prop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got a belly button.
It's got a belly button, but it's rocking that sort of that action figure smoothness in the lower deck department.
Yeah. Be crazy if we found something like this, you know, just like floating around. Like, this is such a cool discovery. Like, I would love for this like real life stuff like this to happen.
Yeah.
Just an incredible part of your history being discovered.
Well, it doesn't really become anything though, does it, in the end?
No,
Doesn't really
it's
help
just,
them.
It's just so cool to see.
It is
though,
very cool.
You know?
Yep. Speaking
I'm
of
always
the dry
waiting
ice.
for us to find something like crazy historically, because I feel like we've kind of found everything, but there's more somewhere, you know. I want there to be more for us to find. Yeah, that is very smooth, isn't it?
Very wide hips.
So they didn't like have genitals back then either. It's like that was like
Apparently,
a different
yeah.
Before
So
it was too late.
Yeah,
It
still
was
have
like
information.
early into their
Yeah.
early into their use
Transformation.
of cloning.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
probably why it was, you know, at the end of the day, it couldn't help them.
See, there's Tilk at the
Yeah.
front and
Well,
Jack at the
probably
back.
wasn't standing there forever.
No.
But I
Yeah,
see,
there
yeah,
you go.
Jack probably wouldn't have moved, you know, further down. But yeah, good
Yeah.
point. And the benches on the screen, I think, were straight, and these are curved. So hey,
Hmm.
I keep hearing. Not yet.
Yep. Simple
Great
escape.
Great plan.
I
Teal.
stand corrected.
The sarcasm. Oh, I feel like Teal didn't really have
Oh,
sarcasm
God.
before, and like now he's
Yeah.
like dripping with it.
So, as one Redditor said, Thor's so excited about using the internal communication system to synthesize his voice. That's basically all he can say in the next episode he's in.
It's because they just had a
just
file of
took
Michael's
that.
performance.
Yeah.
Just saying it over and over again. It was a great way to get around not having him back.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, his memory loop is like, stuck
It's
like
stuck.
that.
I mean,
It's
could
just
they
his
have
voice.
not gotten Michael for 1 day of ADR? In whatever city he's
I mean,
in,
they
he
could've
could have
just
gone
pulled
in there
any-
and did it.
Any voice
Yeah.
of Thor from any episode.
They could, yeah, they could have. and
Yeah,
just
they
paid
could
him
have.
for it. There was enough information. They have enough O'Neills.
I do think
I
that
am
they only
dying.
chose
Okay.
like some of this bit only because it was one of the most recent things.
Exactly.
But I do think it was a bit silly, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, even I'm Growing Weak would have been a better one to hear on repeat over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah, they had the
Because it just
files.
makes a bit more sense.
I was just always wondering why they went with that one.
Yeah.
Because it made it seem artificial
Yeah.
in the wrong way.
I love that she's whispering. Sometimes I have conversations with people where like I don't even need to be whispering because like I'm on the phone with someone who's whispering, but I don't need to be, and I'm just like I just start whispering just because I can.
It's almost like contagious whispering. It's like yawning.
Yeah.
Now I feel like whispering.
Yeah, me too.
Why?
Although I probably have good reason to whisper, seeing as it's like 5:45 in the morning and Adam's asleep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
she's
don't want
doing
grumpy
all of this in
Adam.
a whisper.
No one
Like
likes
Evie's
a
now
grumpy
doing
Adam.
Wormhole Extremists ASMR.
Yes.
He refuses to die.
Hey, look, my man continues to live. He's my guy. Don't you start pooping on him, Osiris. We're gonna beef. I love how much they just hate you, but you is just such a bro. Like my guy. Whenever I hear that he's being a stubborn old man, I'm like, yes, you continue.
You dig your heels in.
Yeah, dig him in. Make away. Yeah. This guy's so done. He's like, I can't believe this is my boss.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Get
fantastic.
a new job, man. Get a new god.
Get a new god.
Jump religions, bro.
Yes.
I'm working on it.
Oh, you said you were jumping religions, and I was like, wait a second, no, talk about
No,
this. I
I'm
was like,
I'm watching
definitely not.
what Carter is doing.
Yeah.
She's trying to get out of there. Using
Easy.
what? Stairs? Rings? Using what?
I always wondered.
You don't see.
What are the? You don't see Gould stairs.
No.
know?
A smaller ring transporter?
I always tried to think of it as like the Atlantis transporter thing.
Unlimited hallways.
Yep.
She's just waiting there.
It's just quite creepy. I like one of the
Kick back and relax.
yeah, I really love the moment where Sam gets shot and falls, and then Teal'c tries to grab
Teal'c
her.
goes to it's
even though
actually
she's
kind
not
of
even
cute.
corporeal.
Yeah, it's just instinct,
Yeah,
like an automatic reaction.
my guy.
Just shoot them all.
Yeah.
But it takes them a while to get there, but that's what they do.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was a
see,
cool
they
shot. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Osiris. I'm sorry, she's a snack.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, no
100%.
argument. No
Absolutely
argument there. Yeah, she has a presence for sure.
I love the behind the scenes videos that Michael and her did together during the Summit and Last Stand. They were really
Yes,
funny.
yeah, my favorite
I love
color.
watching those. Yeah.
All right,
Love your accent. That was good.
now we're ready to go.
Now we have some weapons.
Don't wake up.
Yeah. Hush now.
Go back to sleep.
Go to sleep.
I love the look on Osiris's face when she
Oh,
finds
with
out.
yeah, with Daniel.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's like she can't believe it. And
Yeah,
part of
this
me
is
is like,
a
how much of
great
that
moment.
is Sarah?
Oh, it's definitely all Sarah, I think.
Well, which one?
Yeah. Like, what do we do? I love the way they're both just standing there so awkwardly. It's just so them.
Well, they've got no more information, so just boom.
Yeah. These are
Yeah.
the shoot first, ask questions later guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just take everything offline.
Anubis is sitting there all like, oh. Like his cloak matches the drape that's on the chair.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does. It was like meant for
if
him.
they've just reused that throne from another episode, I assume
just
that's
threw
why
a
they
thing
just
over it.
draped a cloth
Yeah.
over it.
You lie. Nah, she don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. Every time I
Ooh.
hear "go to hell," all I can think, my brain goes Earth first from Atlantis, the first episode of the Wraith Queen.
Good stuff. Thank you, Heimdall.
What a bro!
Oh, so he did get a chance to catch her.
Yeah.
Mm.
He just throws the stuff.
He sure does. I'm done.
Yeah.
He's just all about to be a lifeless husk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Papa's brain's still in the computer. I do like that they continued this and made an episode that I didn't think would be very good, and it ended up being fantastic.
What's that?
Mm-hmm.
Descent.
Oh, yeah.
So excited for it. Oops.
He's awfully confident.
Yeah.
He is.
He is so arrogant, but like, I'm not gonna lie. So when Anubis starts being arrogant, I'm like, yeah, I believe it, bro. I believe it, you know. When other Goulds start doing that, I'm like, hush now, you weak thing. Quiet. A really cool shot. I like that shot.
That is a cool shot.
It is a cool shot.
Cargo
yeah.
ship won't last long with that.
Mm.
It's always we got one more hit and we're done.
Yes, it's always that, isn't it? So there was a discussion online about why the Asgard didn't engage Anubis and they let him flee. So one user offered a bit of an insightful take. The Asgard, despite their advanced tech, and I think we kind of touched on this earlier, are actually in a very vulnerable position due to their ongoing battle with the replicators. So they argued that the Asgard couldn't afford to escalate tensions with the Goa'ulds because they lack the resources for a two-front war.
Yeah.
So pursuing Anubis's ship might have given him a chance to reunite the System Lords against a common enemy. But this particular fan saw the Asgard's restraint as a strategic necessity rather than a show of strength.
What would you, as a Jaffa aboard Anubis' ship, have thought when you got the order from him to retreat?
That's what I mean. It's like they're all a bunch of babies. It's like, exactly. If you're all knowing and all powerful,
why aren't
shut
you,
up.
Yeah, taking us into battle.
Yeah, like you should have this, you know. I do find it funny though. Like if they did just decide to kill Anubis, though, he wouldn't even be dead. He'd just be floating around, just waiting to inhabit something.
That's true.
You know, which is
he lost
really
his
cool. You still can't kill him, and I love that. The android. Let's not call her that. Let's have some more respect, okay?
You're still bitter.
I'm still bitter. That's because his brain's still in the ship. I just think Descent is such a weird episode. Like
yeah.
How did they come up with that? Dude, so smart and just epic.
Yeah.
So we're putting all the chess pieces, updating the chess pieces on the table here.
I love that they're like, oh yeah, the Gould don't know about this technology. It's like, yeah, because he's ascended, but no one knows that yet. So
that's correct.
He's so cool. He's so mysterious.
That's it. This episode, I mean, Full Circle really should have been called Revelations. So there's not much revealed in this.
No, just a bit of like more Anubis. So you get to
I
see him
think
in
person. That was an exact line that Jack used in The Enemy Within.
Yes, it was. I don't know why they used it then, but
no, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it was kind of almost like full circle because you know, the Stargate Command were just beginning to like grasp the Goa'uld threat at that stage.
This right here. Oh,
Yep.
Well, this
so I love that they decided to finally go get some food and have a moment together to calm down.
Yeah. Well, the symbolic gust of wind,
Fun
yeah, might sort of fly over viewers' heads,
Mm-hmm.
pun intended. But fans proved a lot sharper than I think the writers were initially expecting.
Major wooden siler.
So,
Yep.
yep.
And watch
So
the
everyone
smile
sort of
here.
instantly understood its
Yeah.
importance.
I did when I was a kid. I was like, oh, it's
I
Daniel.
understood it as well, but I literally saw a
Yeah.
question on Reddit only from 6 months ago asking what the gust of wind was.
What?
Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did they
Yep.
not watch, the episode?
I don't
I guess
know.
if you didn't see Maternal Instinct, you may think that.
Maybe.
I don't know.
This episode sort of broke SG-1's tradition of ending seasons with cliffhangers.
Yep.
Yeah.
So instead it wrapped up like several plot points, offering like a sense of closure. And I think that was because, like you said, they thought it was going to be the end.
That's why that 5, 6, 7, and 8 do not end on
Yeah.
cliffhangers.
And I think at the time, Brad
Not
Wright
really.
believed season 6 would be SG-1's last, and they envisioned the season building towards a climax that would end in a feature film.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. I mean, so I get mad at the season finales and everything, and this is one that, despite like no cliffhanger, no big like crazy hurrah, is one of my favorite ones because it's a more toned down and just like, hey, we got stuff's about to go ham down the line, and it's nice.
Revelations. Thanks for joining us for season 5.
Yeah, I love the fact that they had that they're going out to dinner together and I feel like they're gonna finally talk about their
know.
feelings a little bit. And hash some stuff out.
Or at least
Well,
be
they
with
need
one
to-
another.
Yeah.
well,
outside
they
of
need
the
to just
base.
have a moment of peace because it's just been all crazy.
Yeah.
I imagine it's been a couple of days.
Well, I imagine
and they
they've
just
been
need
really
to decompress and
stressed.
process all of their
Yeah.
thoughts about everything that's happened. Excuse me.
This is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I will go first. This is a 6 for
Go for
me. Nearly a 7, but it's a 6. There's a lot that they wrap up with this. There's a lot of series lore that really drives this episode home. The performances are fantastic. The visual effects are great. The characters are wonderful, and it leaves you a lot to ponder. So it's a strong 6 for me.
Yeah. Well, I think they dealt very well with the fallout of Daniel's death. I think, as weird as it sounds, I think that was the highlight of this episode. I really appreciate that they didn't gloss over it because it would have been very easy for them to just pick up a few months later and then just completely move over the grief. But I really liked that we got to see our characters deal with everything that happened.
It matters
and,
to the
and all the
creators.
emotion there. Yeah, and I think that was that helped to send off Daniel's character. And it did kind of feel like Meridian could have been like a more fitting finale, but I did enjoy this episode. And I think it had some great elements. I loved like the little tiny bit of humor that was like sprinkled throughout it. I think my favorite was Jack talking to Thor and then them going back on the ship and they're just watching Jack from behind. I just thought it was funny.
Can't
the
leave you
looks on their
behind.
faces. Yeah.
So on the nose.
I know. So I think I'm probably more along a 5, I think. Yeah.
I think Daddy Anubis, because he's just like evil daddy. Love him. Love
Daddy
him. I think that he is just forever my favorite baddie. Like I love like Baal, like we have so much fun with him and stuff like that. But Anubis is just like as an actual villain, Anubis is like my go hard or go home kind of villain. Like I love him so much because he just goes so hard. Like all the other ones are like very mid, and you end up kind of almost being friendly with them half the time. And he's just so and also the fact that he beefs with you, my favorite Gould, like of the other ones that aren't ascended. And like I just like I love you because he hates Anubis because Anubis is just the worst, and he's such a good boy. Everything comes back to you being the best. I love him so much.
Full circle.
He's not a god per se as much as he is, he was.
He's just a reasonable,
he's the only
grumpy
one who
old
lived
man
on Earth for a long period of time that we know of, other than Ra. You know? And so his interests, he's got kind of a soft spot for us.
Yeah, honestly,
a small one.
very small. You know, he
Yes,
tries to like,
But it's
he
enough.
tries
small
to,
spot.
he tries
Yeah.
to nudge it off because he's just like, ew, no, I'm evil, and he's like, oh, but maybe I'm not entirely. But I love him so much, and love the fact that they brought up you, because you has always had beef with Anubis. So the
Yes,
fact
he
is,
did.
right, they've already highlighted in previous episodes how far back you goes,
Way.
how far back
Mhm.
Anubis goes, and
Mhm.
like I think you being like one of the oldest system lords, and the fact that he's the only one that truly remembers all the bad stuff Anubis did and how awful
Yeah.
he was. Just like his character is a big part of why I love Anubis so much. So I remember watching the previous episodes when I was younger, going, "Who's this big bad? Like he's like this guy's must be bad if even these people are freaking out."
If
So,
Osiris
yeah.
remembered Anubis, you would also have remembered Osiris. And that was one of my issues with, Summit and Last
Oh,
Stand.
that's a
It's
good
like
point.
the two of them would
Yeah.
have been like, you know that I know that
Yeah.
you know how bad this guy was, and you want to bring him back? You have been in a box for thousands of years. We have, so.
I just love the fact that this episode just continues building up the terrifying nature of Anubis without even telling you
Agreed.
everything. No
Yes,
real
yeah.
revelations, but a good time. So yeah, I'm giving
Yeah,
this a
I think you're totally right. Is
6
the
chevrons.
title doesn't really suit the episode. Yeah, you're right. It would have been better called Full Circle.
Yeah.
And then Full Circle should have been called Revelations. But anyway.
Something like that,
they
yeah,
didn't
for
know
sure.
that.
But,
Yeah.
I'm sure that had something to do with marketing.
I
Oh,
get
and-
grumpy. Oh, go.
I was going to say, I do appreciate as well that they gave us sort of more context in the Asgard like background, like they're building on
I
that.
suppose
Yeah,
those
give
are the
everything.
revelations.
So yeah, that's a
I was
revelation.
not,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that when I first watched it.
Yep.
You just
No,
think they're
it's-
just like, they're just powerful and
Yep.
they're just
Yeah.
incapable of dying. But yeah,
They're not-
I,
yeah, they're not
I like
gods.
that they've got a fault. Yeah.
Nicole.
This episode had a lot, so yeah. So I gave it a 6, and I will say that in terms of like, I got mad before about season finales. I brought this up earlier, and how every season finale of me has been quite weak, except season 4 to 5 was quite nice and big, and because Anubis Apophis is going to die, but now Anubis is here, and this is one of those like finales. But this is really good because it's coming off the heels of Daniel being dead, and there's so much about it. It doesn't need to be explosive; it just needs to be really interesting. And I feel like all the other ones have kind of failed to be as explosive as they were trying to be, except season 4's finale, and I think this one's done a really good job just being cool.
I actually meant
Yes.
fan ratings.
No, I know, but I wanted to finish my point. So before I went on to that, I understood what you meant, and I was like, yeah, firstly, I'm going to say this.
Firstly, I'm not done.
Firstly, I'm not done. I need to finish my point. Yeah, because I let Yvie do her spiel.
She's
So,
because Nicole put a pin in it like they did with the Goa Wolves Protection Treaty.
I'm
Just put a pin in
sorry.
it.
I'm the only
Yeah,
one
we'll return to
trying
this
be
later.
pithy. All right.
So Raj says my rating for Revelations is 6 out of 7. I wish there was another follow-up episode with the ancient Asgard. Yeah. Anthony says strong 6 for me. Dan Ben 7 out of 7. Jean Diada, I'm just a 5 on this one. It opens and closes strong, but the middle just never grabs me. Fair. Shimmer Victoria 5. The story behind the creation of Heimdall is glorious, and I love the wind plus the music. Yes. Lockwatcher, this is a 7 for me. Actually a 6, but I give it 1 extra point as it is the first episode of Stargate, the continuing series. This was like starting it over for Stargate with a new network. Yeah, actually, that's a interesting point.
This is true.
Stuart Miller says 5 chevrons. Becca says 6. Shimmering Victoria, it does annoy me, but I understand that Daniel is mentioned all the time after his death, but Janet is mentioned like twice. I understand it, but it's always bugged me. No, yeah, well, because Daniel's actually one of the main cast members, so I think they need to they bring it up more. But yeah, I do, yeah, I feel
Fair point.
Anubis, you kids, get off my hot dog. Get off my lawn. That's all I
good.
hear. And Jean Diard says, I like the potential of Anubis, but never felt they pulled it off with him. Oh, I felt they did, but I mean, everyone's different. I think Lost City, the season 7 finale, was just so epic that, like, for me, they really did did succeed for me. Nick Nar 6 and Robin Christensen 6 out of 7. And Anthony said, I'll release full list on Wednesday, but for now, I'll say the least favorite episode of season 5 was Ascension with a 3.69 out of 7. Well, Orland's just a bit of a weirdo, isn't he? So it's like
yeah.
I mean, that's why it's such a low rating. You don't want a stalker in your house. I don't care how ascended you are. You know?
Yeah, wait for us to get to
Agreed.
Chimera then. All right.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Anthony, for continuing to catalog all of our
Remember
crazinesses.
Chimera?
So
Yeah.
So poll results are in.
Yeah.
So
Oh, are they?
yes, they are.
Okay.
Tied in third place with 11% of the vote is Stardust and Upgrade. In second place, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, and the movie that we're going to be watching is Contact. So-
I'm really happy for Evie. I'm devastated.
Well, I
for
hope I
Stardust,
enjoy it. I'm excited,
But down
but
the
I-
line,
Yeah,
down the line,
will.
I'll win.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing this. This is one that David. Did you say you've seen it?
I have. It's a great
So, but
film.
Evie and,
Has it
but
not
Evie
got
and I haven't.
Matthew, like a really young, like Matthew McConaughey, isn't he in it?
Matthew McConaughey is in it. Yes.
Yeah.
Contact leaves you with the same feeling about our place in the universe.
Is it based on a book?
Yes. Nick's Carl Sagan's book. Contact.
Sorry, I keep seeing this book, and every time I keep looking at it, wanting to buy it. Sorry, I'm glad I haven't, so I get to surprise myself.
It leaves
on,
you
sorry.
feeling the same place in the universe as 2001: A Space Odyssey did.
Right.
You feel this big, and you feel just like the wonder of space and of possibility.
Right.
Cosmic horror.
Okay.
No,
That's how I feel.
no, not horror.
No, I'm not saying that this is cosmic horror. I'm saying that I feel cosmic horror, like dread, when I
Yes,
realize how
Yeah,
tiny
dread.
it
the
is.
word
Yeah.
is wonder, because
Okay.
there is an alien encounter.
You're saying this is
So.
more positive in terms of that.
Abjectly positive, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm
looking
Chad,
forward to it.
Did I characterize that correctly? So yeah, we'll see.
No one's saying
Lockwatcher,
anything
this is one of my
against you,
favorites, so I'm assuming that's what he's talking about is Contact.
I keep almost
So.
picking it up because the font on it looks exactly. It's the same font that they use for the game Control, and every time I see it in a bookstore on the shelf, you just see a giant Contact just on the side, and I've seen it 4 or 5 times where I've gone, and then I just don't.
Almost bought it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jake
I've come so
Busey
close.
is in it. This is before he was in Starship Troopers. Great actor. Tom Skerritt is in it. And it
Yeah, it has
it deals with a lot of modern social political back and forth, science and religion.
okay.
And
Alright.
we're
Very
sending someone
fascinating.
out there.
Yep.
Who is it that we want to
You want to send a bit of
to
everything.
Represent.
to represent us? And it's
Yeah,
not,
right.
oh, they're not going to send me out because I'm a woman. No, none of that. It's
Yeah.
they're, who do we want to set first into the unknown?
I think
So.
SG-1 is a good representation of just like the balance of getting everybody out there. Because
But you
like,
can only
the
send
balance
one
of everybody.
person. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, so that's quite hard to do.
Okay.
Like, you know,
Wow.
Dan
Okay,
Ben, it's
I'm
about
looking forward to
communicating.
it.
Yeah, that's a fair bit. Yeah. Space Odyssey, Robin Christensen, Space Odyssey for me is one of the worst movies. Okay. There you go.
Robin, I respect the really left field just punch to that movie. That's quite amusing.
I invite anyone who is a fan of 2001 to go on to YouTube and look up Also Sprach Zarathustra, which is the the movement. It's about half an hour long. The movie only uses the first couple of minutes of it.
Yes,
but
Nick
it's a
Young
whole
is in Jodie
movement
Foster.
and it's really good. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, gang.
Okay.
Anything else?
Well, end of season 5.
I know.
Wow. It's taken us a while to get there because we had so many breaks
We
in
had
between.
to go do stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're done, and now we got to go into we got some great stuff ahead. We're so close to Atlantis, guys. I'm really excited. So
Really? Yeah, that's true
Yeah.
because we'll start dividing up the seasons. So
yeah,
We
we're 2
will.
seasons away,
Yes.
so-
Fair
Splitting
point.
our time.
I'm just not
Yeah.
crazy about season 6. I'm going to be watching it,
But it's better with friends, David.
It's like
better
when
with
I watched
Absolutely.
season 2, and I was like,
Yeah.
I hate season 2. Season 6, I'm a bit
I'm
better
looking
about.
forward to watching it with y'all as opposed to just with myself and hopefully going to learn some more about it too. So,
Yeah.
all right, gang. We've enjoyed watching season 5 with you. This Wednesday at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, I'll be posting it on wormholeextremist.com or on dialthegate.com early, so you can take a look at it yourself, and the link will be there too very shortly. So that's what we got for you. My name is David. Nicole, thank you. Yvie,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
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 I was like, bye.